Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. Good to be with you. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, if you miss portions of the show and you'd like to get caught up, just remember, when it concludes, we'll post all 3 hours both to iTunes and our own audio vault on the webpage, ESPNTallahassee.com. You can email the show if you want. It's JCS at 979 ESPNRadio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. The WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And, I think we're caught up pretty much. YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee if you want to watch us perform our duties. Also on Twitter, if you follow at 979 ESPN Radio, you can see the show periscoped as well. So the magical ride comes to a conclusion on Saturday night in a hard-fought 4-point loss for Florida State, who faced a Michigan team that really did what I thought was a fantastic job defensively, really not allowing Florida State to do anything in the way of transition, fast break baskets, literally nothing in the way of fast break points for Florida State in this game. And the key to stopping Florida State, easier said than done, is typically to try to get Florida State bogged down in a half-court offense. Every team has an identity, things they do well, things they don't do well, and things that they're, decent at but not great at. And for us, this is a team that relies an awful lot on getting out and utilizing the length and athleticism and skill in the open court and finishing around the rim. Florida State did a great job of that most all season long, did so in this tournament. But Michigan really did away with the vast majority of that in this game. And I thought, early in the game, Florida State turned the ball over an awful lot. That first half, I think it was 14 turnovers, Tom, and that's a big number. It offset kind of how well we shot in the first half. When you look at the numbers, statistically speaking, it wasn't a bad first half from the field, but it was one that saw a lot of turnovers. We were 42, almost 43% from the field. We were 3 of 9 from beyond the arc in the first half. But 14 turnovers in 20 minutes will hurt your feelings. We also did a very good job in this tournament, and I would say again the other night, defending. And that's really the tale of two teams for the season, and I think that's true. And I'll go through and look at some of these statistics momentarily from the pre-NCAA tournament, which features 31 games, and, of course, the tournament run. And you can see the difference in the way that Florida State really defended and bought in to that end of the floor. And it's a good thing they did, because they did it at the right time, and it allowed for this run. And we'll all remember this run to the Elite Eight, which was rather improbable. But remember, it was all brought on by the willingness to play on the defensive end and find the intensity that I had been begging for most of the season. And the reason I say that time and again is Florida State had shown a lot of other areas in which they were proficient. And I felt like if you just embrace defense a little bit more, dig in a little bit more on that end of the floor, you could maybe put together a run. I couldn't have guessed an Elite Eight run, but you could get a little bit more out of what you had, and they did that. But at the end of the day, they faced a Michigan team that really defends and got back on defense. With every missed shot, Michigan got back, and certainly if they were making shots, it made it all the more difficult for Florida State, because that was stingy from the Wolverines on the other end.
Yeah, it was totally stingy, stifling at times, where you just, after 25 seconds, you go, my God, really? They're going to – it may be better for us not to just turn the ball over here and just eat the 30-second violation the way that Michigan was going at certain moments. And I look at the box score, and it felt this way too. You talk about the turnovers and obviously the barrage of turnovers that was the first half. And
they only had one in the second half.
Right. Your glass is half full guy. You're saying, we're only down a point, and we have all of these turnovers. They have so many more cracks at it than we do. Only 6 assists in the night, too. So, again, you have six assists against 15 turnovers for the evening. This was just one of those nights where the defense kept us in the game. So did free throws. We hit 90% of our free throws on Saturday night, 18 to 20 from the line, and that was something that Michigan came up short in down the stretch to give us a second chance.
Yeah.
2 key moments here. We had a Phil Kofer 3 to tie the ball game with a couple minutes left. He misses that, and then we work our way back because they miss a couple of front ends. They miss some free throws, and we get a PJ 3, and then there's a 3-point foul. So he goes to the line. He hits 3 free throws. and then PJ has a chance to tie the game, and it doesn't work out for us. Today, I'm disappointed, but it doesn't outweigh how proud I am. I'm much more proud of this season and proud of the effort and proud of the heart, the coaching, the effort, all of it, than I am disappointed. That was for Sunday morning, the disappointment. But today, how can you not be pleased with what we did?
Well, and I'm excited about what next year represents. You know, I think if a lot of these guys were leaving, I would be very concerned because last year at this time we were concerned. You know, you were losing NBA guys or at least professional basketball players. You knew XRM was leaving too, and he's now in the league. But, you know, you wonder where your points were going to come from and who would take that next step forward. And I thought they were talented enough to make it interesting in the ACC, but I didn't know that they would win 20 games and go 9-9 in the ACC. It's been a really good year for the ACC yet again, and it's a tough conference to have a year in transition, and yet they overachieved. I think they got more out of this group than a lot of people would have been willing to agree to at the beginning of the season when we were pointing out over-unders and what was possible. That Saturday night was disappointing because you actually had a chance despite all the things that weren't going the way you needed them to. I mean, the way we talked about this game was that if you defended the three-point line yourself against Michigan's 5 shooters, and they got 5 guys that can score, and so you thought that would be paramount, and you figured if you were able to get some baskets in transition, maybe hit from 3, you could have a chance to win a game against a team that during the course of the year most people thought were a much better team than Florida State. And yet you didn't get fast break points at all, and you weren't able to score in transition, and you didn't shoot real well, especially not in the second half. Credit Michigan's defense there. And yet there you are. 2 cracks at a 3 to tie really late. That tells me that, again, their resilience and their willingness to fight, play together, stick in there, hang tough, well, it came out yet again, only this time it was in a losing effort. 54 points for Florida State. That is the lowest total in any game this year. So you got to give credit to Michigan. I mean, that's the first time. Think about this. I mean, we scored more points against Virginia than we did Michigan. So it's
and that was a second half to forget, right, against Virginia?
Right.
My goodness.
I mean, I think, again, you give a lot of credit to Michigan. And, you had some looks there that you just didn't knock down. But that happens when there's the weight of the moment and a hand in your face. And, they lost to a better team. But they were right there. So it's an Elite Eight appearance that most didn't expect. I am not going to be bogged down by frustration after the loss. I am more inclined, as you thought, to look big picture and say, nice run, boys. Hell of a run. Proud of you. Should be an interesting team next year. They're very good. And if they get Phil Kofer back, who, by the way, good on you, Phil Kofer. He had a double-double, scored 16 in this game, had 12 boards, I think it was, blocked a shot, played well. But if they get Phil Kofer back, and it's a big if, I don't know where they sit with that. I know earlier in the year they felt like that was a real distinct possibility, so let's hope that happens. But, you end up in a situation where you'll wait on the NCAA to approve for a 5th year due to all the injuries that he's had. He participated in just 11 games in 2015, 2016 before undergoing ankle surgery. The NCAA medical redshirt rules that state a player cannot have played in more than 30% of their schedule. And unfortunately, since FSU only played 34 games in 2015, 2016, 30% of 34 games is 10.2 games. So,
right, yeah.
We'll see. We're petitioning.
Yeah, well, and next year, even, let's just say Kofer's not on that team and he is not granted the extra year, there's going to be a lot of battles for these few minutes on the court.
Well, go to the guard position where that's especially true, by the way, because, you lose Angola, and congratulations to that young man, and a nice career, nice transfer, really did things here that he can be proud of. And
game rounded back into form.
He really did. I was happy for him for that because that's a good kid who worked really hard. But think about what you have now with P.J. Savoy, and then you get back to Mann, Forrest, M.J. Walker, C.J. Walker. You've got a lot of guys coming back that will compete for spots and playing time there. Competition is always a very good thing. But the bigs, too. I mean, we've talked about it with Kabengele and Fiondu and obviously Obiagu. So, you've got guys who I think from the defensive standpoint can really help you. It's going to be an interesting year for Kamaji, offseason for Kamaji. He's got to get a lot better to warrant minutes that he got.
Agreed. And obviously Terrence Mann will be the leader of this team next year. I'm assuming he's sticking around. I would think he's definitely a player who still needs to be in the college game into his senior season, unless he gets some sort of offer abroad that he can't turn down. But Terrence will be here. If Kofor is back, then he'll be one of those leaders. But you look at the guard position as you're talking about, and it's got to be MJ Walker that takes the big chunk of minutes from Angola. If we're going to go the places we want to go, there were flashes in the postseason, but his jump shot just wasn't there. He hit the freshman wall. That's very much a real thing. Sometimes we think of it as a proverbial thing. It's very much a real thing, and it was for MJ. What you saw with the explosiveness in the first half and the dunk, you think, okay, that is a sign of what's to come while we're still trying to make it over to the Final Four with who we have on the court tonight. But all in all, this was, in a weird way, kind of a throwback street fight to the Junkyard Dog days, this 58-54 final. Two teams playing really good defense. And if you're Michigan, you know, in the Sweet 16 weekend, now you're playing in the Final Four, and you won games two different ways. So they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves as they match up, especially against the 11 seed, the darling of America right now, in Loyola Chicago. That's the wacky side of the bracket, but Michigan has had as favorable a run as possible to get to the point they're at. But hats off to them, because that game that we played against them looked completely different than the game they won 2 nights earlier. Right.
They've played it a lot of different ways, and they had a gut check game prior to that, too, with the heave to advance. You know, this tournament is about survive and advance. They say it all the time. Every aspect of your team gets tested eventually, and Michigan's found a lot of different ways. You know, we really were treated to a touch of class on the other side, a fun game between Duke and Kansas, obviously, and that had more of the feel of what people are accustomed to seeing this late round with the elite teams on that side of the bracket still alive.
Well, and truth be told, the end of regulation on these airwaves was listening to the Westwood One coverage of the Duke and Kansas game, and once it went to overtime, I found the nearest television.
Well, I will also tell you, I bragged on them earlier, but just a great job from our friends at Westwood One, and we're carrying them now, and good work out of you to get that done, because I think that just driving around town, you know, you can't watch every game. You got things you got to get done. But it's nice jumping in the car, being able to listen to their broadcasts. And while we're providing it, that's cool. They do a great job. They really do. There are many times that you can get access to, whether it's postseason, NFL playoff games or college football games, whatever it might be. But it's not always well done. It's not always compelling, if you know what I'm saying. Their broadcast teams are really, really excellent. And you do yourself a favor if you're out driving around and one of these games on.
What you end up doing is you get to Publix, and then you just stop in the parking lot and wait the extra 2 minutes because this sounds like the greatest thing that's ever happened. And it may not be. It could be a war that's 37-35, and they're at the under 8 in the second half. Kind of close to what we saw just from an offensive product standpoint on Saturday night. But you wouldn't know that from the energy that's brought to every broadcast. And certainly... yesterday featured one hell of a matchup that lived up to the billing between Duke and Kansas.
Should mention that we will address it. I'll do so in just a moment. Hamilton has since addressed it. A lot of people with a bit of an uproar with his post-game interview in which he became testy with Dana Jacobson when she asked the question about fouling towards the end of the game. I'll give you my thoughts on that here momentarily. It's actually a little bit more of a simple explanation, I think, and I would have preferred him not to have gotten testy, certainly, because I don't think enough people know who Ham is. So if that's the first impression you get of him, is that he's this surly, angry man who can't handle losing, which is really not who he is. So I think in that sense, he was right to come out and say, sorry about that, and I'll read you what he said. But as far as the explanation for it, I've got a theory on that, and I'll give it to you next. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Why does Mahindra have 97% satisfaction? Ask our owners.
This gives me the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I decided on Mahindra just because of the sheer strength, the size, the ease of the workability, and it was more of a comfortable machine than the others.
You could lift just about anything with that thing. It has never let me down.
And now get the industry's best 7-year limited powertrain warranty on select models.
TNT. Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
At 984-56.
Poor Paul's here in Tallahassee. First, I want to thank you all for stopping. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here on the Capitol steps and why I don't have any clothes on.
Because you're a pervert.
Let me explain. This is being recorded for a Poor Paul's radio commercial, and I think if I record it totally nude, people will pay more attention to my message. Business is great at Poor Paul's, but I still have one small problem.
I'll say you do.
My problem is that in spite of having free Gumby's Pizza and $4.95 pitchers every Sunday and Monday night, free beer and free mixed drinks for our lovely ladies every Tuesday night, and other great money-saving specials every other night of the week, some of you are still going to other bars. Bars whose owners would never bare their souls, so to speak, as I am. So I'm simply asking for your business so Poor Paul's can grow.
I see something else that needs to grow.
This isn't working. Hand me that towel, please.
I have a hanky.
Hendrick.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your savings. Race into Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC for the best selection and service in Tallahassee. Get incredible discounts on racetrack-worthy vehicles, like $10,000 off select new Buicks and GMCs. We are professional grade. And that's not all. We've got a huge used car inventory, so you can find a quality pre-owned vehicle to fit any budget. We even offer low payments and exceptional offers, like 0% APR financing. Hassle? No way. Haggle? Never. At Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, you'll deal with people you know, like, and trust, and get the honest, friendly service you deserve. That's why our customers will tell you there's no better car buying experience in town. Visit us today at 1850 Capitol Circle Northeast or online at DaleJuniorBuickGMC.com. And remember, you too can be a Hendrick driver.
Spring into savings with DeWalt and Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Buy one DeWalt 20-volt Max XR lithium-ion brushless premium hammer drill and impact driver combo kit with a 5-amp-hour battery and receive $100 off instantly. But wait, you get one of the following DeWalt Bear tools for free: a 5-inch grinder, recip saw, circular saw, or an LED spotlight. Come check out all of the new DeWalt products at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. While you're there, check out the most powerful cordless kit on the planet, FlexFold. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, online at ctf.nu.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
.97.9 ESPN Radio. So some people have focused in on Ham's post-game interview with Dana Jacobson, in which he was asked why it was the team didn't foul in the remaining 11 seconds of the contest. And you certainly would want to in that game. If you go back, the end-of-game scenario, at one point you have it 55-52 with $1:16 to play. We get the ball back with a chance to tie. Savoy's three-point attempt is offline. Michigan grabs the rebound, and we fouled there. And we had basically late in the game had actually started fouling and putting Michigan on the line. And luckily they weren't necessarily converting at a high rate. They go and hit the one of two free throws to make it 56-52 with 39 seconds to play. We came down, launched a couple of errant three-pointers. Kofor grabs the second miss, converted on a layup. It's a 56-54 game with 24 seconds left. Michigan was smart, as one would be in this situation when you have a 90% free throw shooter. You get the ball to Duncan Robinson. He's fouled, and he knocks down both free throws rather calmly, I might add.
Yes.
That's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
That made it 58-54 with 21 seconds to play. And I guess you could argue that late in the game, Florida State panicked a little bit. You don't need to shoot a three there. You can get to the basket. They're going to probably give you that. They don't want to foul. So I thought we should have gone to the basket, but we're taking threes. And so, you know, I understand that you could describe that as panicking a little bit. You see this from lots of teams late in games when it's a two-possession game, not always choosing the right option there. As far as not fouling with 11 seconds to go after we missed shots, they were supposed to. And if you go back and watch the replay, I don't want to single anybody out. And I can tell you that's what Ham didn't want to do, which is going to get to my point in a moment. I believe from looking at it again, PJ Savoy, who's played really well for us, and I don't want to put it all on him. I mean, this game is basically over. The kid you would have had to have fouled was the one kid who had just knocked down the two free throws, and he was probably going to do it again. And you have no timeouts. So it's a two-possession game with no timeouts, and you're putting them on the line. You're going to lose the damn game. But you do have to make them play it out. And so I agree that you should have fouled. And so did the coaches and the bench who were imploring Florida State starters to foul, and they didn't. Savoy had the option, the best chance to foul there. He didn't. If you're looking for somebody to blame, I think he made a mistake. So Ham is obviously devastated. The game ends. You lose by 4. The run is over. He loves this team. He has said it in countless ways, countless times. I know from talking to some insiders how much he loves this team. So the people over there say he's really come to respect what they became and how hard they worked and played for each other and all those things. All the things that made us love him. He loves about him. So I think he was sad. I think he was saddened by the end being over, and he's obviously frustrated. And he comes off the floor, and he's asked by Dana Jacobson why you don't foul. And I don't think he had an answer. I don't think the answer he would have had to have given would have been to roll his players. And he's not going to do it. He doesn't even roll his players when they do something really wrong like get in trouble, which is infrequent. But let's say they miss a class and get suspended for a half or something like that. He'll never tell you that. They're just in street clothes or they miss a half because he doesn't want to embarrass the kids or do anything to humiliate them.
Internal matter.
That's right. That's how he handles it, and I respect that. And the fact that those kids don't get in trouble and do graduate and have played great basketball, that's all well and good and should be recognized. So he wasn't going to say that. He wasn't going to come off the floor and say, well, you know, we were telling them to foul, but they didn't. You're not going to do it. So he attempted to deflect, and that was the mistake. I don't know, flustered and angry, if you are maybe in a position to come up with something a little better than that. I think he was caught a little off guard. I don't know that he thought that'd be the very first question after a hard-fought game and an Elite Eight run for a team that was not positioned to do that, and a lot of people didn't think could do that. So when he got hit with that question, I think he handled it poorly. He said as much in his apology. His apology was all class, as it always is with him. And I really don't think it's that big a deal. Now, I think it was a fair question from Dana, without question. I don't think he should have taken issue with the question. I mean, I can understand how he would struggle with it, not wanting to roll players. If the situation had been, and go back and watch the replay, because I did that this morning just to make sure I was sure of what I saw. If the situation had been that they didn't know to foul or didn't instruct to foul or weren't on the sideline imploring them to foul, then maybe we would have a different discussion. We'd have a different talking point. We'd wonder how it was that went over their heads in the waning moments. But that's not what happened. And so really, I think that's kind of the end of the discussion.
I agree. There was a circumstance earlier this year where we did not foul, and the game escapes me. It may have been Louisville-Brooklyn, but don't hold me to that. There was another game this year where we decided not to.
It was Virginia, wasn't it?
It could have been. I don't want to pin it down and get it wrong. But this does have precedent this year. However, yes, you're right. If you look at the replay of the game, there's
they're telling them
there's
foul.
Instruction. There is instruction. Leonard obviously didn't handle it well. However, that doesn't mean that Dana handled it, great or poorly either. She was just very professional about the way she asked the question and followed up when Leonard got difficult. She didn't escalate the situation at all. But at the end of it, once we're all settled with the interview and it's over, she tweeted out later that
she was fine with it.
She was fine, and he treated her nothing short of professional the entire weekend. So I don't think either side really has a problem with each other at the end of the day. And Leonard made sure, by releasing a statement through Florida State Hoops last night on Twitter, especially, that's where most people saw it, to clear the air about the emotions of the moment and handling it incorrectly. But
we're good at making
congratulating Michigan about
mountains out of molehills,
right?
In the media and also just in the general public on social media, where everything becomes this huge deal. So I don't think, there's no life to it. But I did need to address it. I did want to address it because I understand if you're watching the last 11 seconds or so play out, you are saying, got a foul there, got a foul. And maybe if you're at an establishment, if you're out and about and you can't hear it and you can't, you don't see that right over there, they're asking him to foul. They're telling him to foul. I just think a mistake was made, and, he kind of got flustered when he was asked about it.
There's no doubt he didn't handle it well.
No, there's no doubt. And, I'll tell you a funny story, though, as it pertains to Ham and sideline reporters, right? Coaches in general, I think, get frustrated. I mean, see Popovich, see whomever you want to in the NBA.
Jimbo lost it on Quint Kesnick once when we were playing. They were playing up in Syracuse. I think this was the 2014 season, the halftime interview. He was incensed with him.
Yeah. Well, there's a number of times that you can find coaches all over the country who get angry with sideline reporters because they usually ask fluff questions or leading questions, things that, and they don't want to have to talk about it anyhow. They want to get to their team. And they don't want to be burdened by it, but it's part of it. And coaches have figured out that you've got to take a deep breath, try to be professional.
This is part of the millions of dollars
that's
that
right.
I make.
Let's just answer these questions and get off the field.
Because people are watching the product, and that's how I get paid.
Well, and I think Tom Block can speak to this certainly better than I can. I've never had to be down on the field to talk to a coach who's either had a devastating loss just play out or a really frustrating half, and now he's collecting his thoughts, running to the locker room, and I got to go, hey, coach, hold on a second, and ask him a question that I know he doesn't want to answer and that he's frustrated by. But I would think that's a difficult position. That's not a good one. I've had plenty of interviews where I could tell coach was mad, but he's usually in the privacy of a studio. So I can, if he wants to yell at me, he can. The whole world's not watching, But I say that to say this. I was down at the ACC tournament in Tampa when we lost to North Carolina. And we had at the end of the half play out in a disastrous way in which we had played really hard and really well for a half, and we're hanging in there against North Carolina. And then we turn it over. They hit a three. On the inbounds, we turned it over on a ridiculous inbounds pass. They pick it up, hit a shot, and really gain all the momentum in the world. I think it was either 5 or 7 points they scored in like 10 seconds to end the half. Ham was incensed, and he's storming off the court because he can't wait to talk to his team about the way that played out. And he's livid, and I'm down by the tunnel at the press table. It was me and Eric Eggers, and he's running in, and Doris Burke is trying to talk to him because the game's on ESPN. And she goes to ask him a question, and she knows he's livid. And she asked him a question, and he said something tersely, very angry. He's like, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, and stormed off, whatever he said. She smiled. She turned around and threw it back to the announcers, and she's trying not to laugh. She literally came back over and stood right where we were. And I go, well, that was interesting. And she goes, oh, he's great. It'll be all right. And when they came out for the next half, Ham walked over to him and put his arm around her and was talking to her, and she chuckled, patted him on the back, and that was the end of it. I think these things happen, but that's a high-profile situation with the whole country watching.
The whole country.
The whole country.
Oh,
so, unfortunately for Coach.
Not throwing it to another game. The whole country's right there.
Yeah, unfortunately for Coach, if that's the first impression, it's not a good one. And I bet he regrets that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men on a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. March is here. That means another fiscal year end for Nissan Corporate. And while the other dealers' year ended in December, Nissan's is March 31st. And that means only Kraft Nissan has December savings in March. Seriously, factory has given Kraft Nissan a very aggressive number. I mean, big number to hit by month's end. Most dealers would not even try to hit that number because there's an all or nothing cash reward. But based on setting all-time records 3 years in a row, I'm betting Kraft Nissan will set another all-time record. And to do so, I'm drastically lowering prices and passing that cash reward onto you. So if you thought you missed year-end savings, you haven't missed Nissans. Plus, all new Nissans come with Kraft Nissan's exclusive free lifetime warranty. And this month, free maintenance for 2 years or 20,000 miles. Altimas, Maximas, and Rogues have savings up to $6,000. Titans have 0% for 72 months. Available no money down and no payments until June. At Kraft Nissan, our prices and discounts cannot be beat because we share our fiscal year-end bonus with you. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Financing through NMAC with approved credit.
Did you know that one major advantage of propane cooking is that it offers more precise temperature control than electric? That means perfectly cooked meals every time. Propane also heats your home faster and maintains the warmth longer than electric or fuel oil, allowing you to potentially reduce your energy bill. If you'd like to know more, contact AmeriGas Propane right here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
Looking for a new place to watch your favorite sporting events? Hobbit American Grill with 3 locations to choose from. Just show them your stub. That's right, your ticket stub from any local sporting event for $1 pints and $3 crafts. BOGO Mondays every Monday with 50% off specials. Like or follow on Facebook to get all the details. PS4 tourneys, trivia, karaoke, darts, and more. Lots of daily lunch specials under $8. Happy hour specials daily and happy hour all day on Friday. The Hobbit American Grill.
And now, Jeff and Eddie wasting time when they're supposed to be recording a commercial.
What do you think about this team this weekend? Crazy, huh? Really fast.
And they're good. Where do they come from?
Never thought about it.
Oh,
Never
my
thought
goodness.
about it.
But then that one guy does that thing.
I had 2 people call about it. It's ridiculous.
It's the talk of the town.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The excitement of the Willie Taggart era at Florida State is in full force. That's why now's the perfect time to sign up at warchant.com. Warchant.com will have wall-to-wall coverage of spring football practice, including the latest on position battles, coach and player interviews, video features, and in-depth analysis. Warchant.com's 3-team writers, Gene Williams, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark, have 50 years of experience covering the Seminoles. And Warchant.com is the only FSU media outlet with a dedicated, full-time recruiting analyst in Tallahassee with the latest on the 2019 class. For your 30-day free trial subscription, head to warchant.com and use promo code WARCHANT30.
O'Reilly
Pick up Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant for $8.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Protect against damaging rust and corrosion with Peak Premixed Coolant, now $8.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you're a pro, you don't buy a little of this or that. You buy a lot of this or that. And at the Home Depot, you save even more. Save up to 15% at bulk discounts on select pro-grade products from top brands like 3M, Loctite, and Liquid Nails. As a pro, you work hard for your money. You shouldn't have to work hard to save it. Up to 15% at bulk discounts on select pro-grade products. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. See store for details.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I don't know. I talk about how losses happen for a reason, and you can have in your mind this idea of what's going to happen, including that you foresee a loss, but then it happens and it affects you and your emotions come into play. I tell you, the level of satisfaction, and not just outwardly saying something because it plays in the moment and we're able to talk about it and ride the momentum of it to show success or conversations, but rather because I felt it down deep. I didn't get that angry at any point in this game. I don't even think I really stewed about the game more than, say, 10 minutes. And stew's not even the right word. I was at Bumpa's, and I ordered a beer and talked about it with Corey Clark and some other friends, and we just kind of chit-chatted about what happened, what transpired, what we thought next year was going to look like, and what we were going to do. And I think the season was that gratifying to allow you to reach a place where when it ends, you're not angry.
Yeah, I think I was somewhat similar. I was at, it was like a couple's dinner date kind of thing where there was, of course, going to be a TV. And
yes,
halftime, I was less pleased because of all the turnovers. Like, just give yourself a fair fighting chance.
Give yourself a chance here, right?
Because who knows if at some point these open threes that Michigan is missing, they're going to start hitting. That was the thing I was worried about. I thought on the one hand, you've turned the ball over a bunch, you're not hitting perimeter shots yourself, and you're down just the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that bad.
No.
You don't even have any fast break points. Little did I know that we would not add a
At
single
no point
one.
would you have one. Yeah.
But on the other side of it, I was thinking, well, these are all missed opportunities because their offense is going to come eventually. I honestly thought at halftime that perhaps we'd get a bit of a score fest in the second half and the game would open up. It never did. But I was gutted. I was gutted when Kofor missed the three and they extend the lead. And then I was gutted when PJ missed the three and we were unable to tie the ball game there and we end up losing. I was pacing for all those commercial breaks because remember in the second half, there were about three of them in a span of 10, 15 real-time minutes. I was on this outdoor deck at the place I was at, walking back and forth. So I all at once appreciated it, but you knew it was so close, and the specter of Loyola Chicago being the team you would play in the Final Four, I mean, it's all there before you. I wanted it badly, but like you're saying, I'm here on a Monday, and I'm not destroyed over it. I'm proud. I'm proud of the season that we just watched.
You know, the only time that I felt frustration is that you do realize in these kinds of tournaments that even if, let's say, next year's team is better than this year's team, the kind of run Florida State just went on is not guaranteed. In fact, it's unlikely, even with a better version of the team that comes out this next year. So I understand that when you get opportunities like this and you can make a little magic, you'd like not to see it in. And I think for a 69-year-old head coach who's never been to a Final Four and he's taken over so many reclamation projects and turned them around and been able to, to kind of not just have some success, but really change a culture. He did it at Miami, obviously, the 1 year in the Big East. They didn't lose a single road game. He got them to the Sweet 16. I mean, that's remarkable. And obviously he's now taken us to not one but two Sweet 16s and an Elite Eight now. So, he's had successes. He's had it at places where you don't always have the resources you need to sustain excellence. I think he realized he was real close. I mean, it was real close to happening here to go to a Final Four, and to do it at this stage of your career with this team, as unexpected as it would have been, I think probably would have held a true – we know already it held a special place in his heart. So I think, he was probably hurting. I think you could sense that.
Well, and that's the thing. Again, player for player, last year's team was better than this year's team from a talent standpoint. They just didn't play together the way you needed to. And there's no guarantee that the same group,
that's right,
the same core coming back next year, mostly, is going to be able to capture what it is.
Well, and I think of Jimboisms in this case, and for as frustrated as he could be, he sometimes said things that we still kind of absolutely nod our head at and agree with, and that is that every team has a one-year lifespan. And that 2014 football team we thought was prepared to make another great run, and while they did go undefeated in the regular season, the magic was never there. It was not the same as the 2013 team with something to prove, angry, dominant, focused, intense, locked in, all the time, accountable. 14 was just a series of cliffhangers coming back because you played poorly for a half because, I don't know, you weren't as locked in. And so we've seen it play out when you do have dominant teams.
Yeah, the nature of the NCAA tournament isn't such that you're going to sneak up on teams. We didn't sneak up on Xavier. We had to come back in the second half. So Gonzaga had a week to think about us, so we're not sneaking up on them either. However, maybe for a home game early in the ACC slate, North Carolina might sleepwalk on you a little bit because you haven't proven that you can handle the ACC rigors. Not next year. And I think that's going to change, or at least test, at the very least, test the mettle of this group. Because now you have the burden of expectations. I don't know that we're all going to say this is an Elite Eight or a Final Four team next year, but you can't go visit the NCAA tournament, make it a third straight year, and I don't even know if one win is acceptable. We'll see what happens in the course of the season and how healthy we are by the end of it. But you don't enter next year saying just make the tournament. It's not like that anymore. You got to make some noise during the regular season. You got to make some noise in the tournament again to validate what you just did, because most of these players are back. So we'll see if the burden of the expectations changes the personality of this team.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be very fascinating to go into the antithesis of this season, right? Next year will be very much on the other end of the spectrum. You went into this year, for the most part, just really not thinking about the basketball team as a guaranteed lock to make the NCAA tournament. You will next year walk into the season expecting that they are a guaranteed lock to make the NCAA tournament. Two very different projections for these two teams. And then from there, if you get into the more nuanced points, you thought, even if you thought this team was an NCAA tournament team, which I did, you figured them to be a fringe NCAA tournament team that would have to really fight and claw for every scrap they could get, which they did. And they found a way to get through. A lot of close games, and they lived up to that expectation. But then it was, as you said, just kind of like, well, if you just win a couple of games here, that's amazing. I remember saying before the tournament started, imagine if we win this first game and get right back to where we were a year ago after losing 3 NBA players. Well, I didn't know we'd win that and then another one and get to the Elite Eight, which is, above and beyond any reasonable expectation for sure. But next year, yeah, it will be a situation where you'll go in, you'll probably get a much higher seed. And with that higher seed comes the expectation that you'll go much deeper in the tournament. But the tournament always proves this, especially in an era of college basketball right now where you see, I hate to use the word because it happens all the time, but the parity in college basketball we saw this year, we thought would result in a crazy NCAA tournament, and it's happened. And so I think you can appreciate the run and at the same time say, well, I'll have higher expectations for next year's regular season, and I know by virtue of winning more games and playing at a higher level, we're going to expect more out of them in the tournament. But the logical side of me says there's no guarantee that happens either, because ask North Carolina, ask Virginia. Let's just stop there. Ask Virginia.
Well, again, if you do what you're supposed to do, and it's funny, we've already flipped it, right? But if you do what you're supposed to do, given what this season was and what you have coming back next year, assuming that everybody we expect to be back is going to be back and healthy throughout the season, then you should be, a single-digit seed that's not sweating it out at all on Selection Sunday. Not that we were this year. If you were alert, you knew there was no reason to be afraid on Selection Sunday.
Well, if you listen to this show, you knew we were easily in.
But you're talking about the draw on Selection Sunday. What's the draw going to be? And you're looking at the second game. You're going to look past that first matchup. This is what happens with success. And that's the problem we all want. And that's why I'm happy and proud today. We'll worry about next year, but this year was a rousing success. Hopefully it's an announcement and an indicator of what's to come more than a fluke.
Another rousing success over the weekend for the Florida State baseball team. Another road series in the books in the ACC, and a victorious one at that. Fun team to watch. Fun team to watch fight back after losing opening games and continuing to try to get theirs and win a series. We'll talk about what the Seminole baseball team did against North Carolina over the weekend momentarily. Also, by the way, they're in pads. At some point, we should talk about that. We've got guys out there hitting. Jaquez Patrick was all too happy to supply some damage done early this morning. It was one of those moments. If you haven't seen the highlights yet, we'll talk a little bit about spring football as well. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
We'll see you there.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You could do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car, yes sir.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. I've been telling you that Kraft Nissan is your new tire headquarters, and now through April 30th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th one for $1. We're talking Goodyear, Bridgestone, Continental, Kumho, and more. Plus, all tires come with free lifetime rotations, and Kraft Nissan gives you 2 years road hazard protection on your new tires at no charge. I'm telling you, we beat the box stores and we beat the tire stores, and we back it up with the Kraft Price Match Guarantee. We beat any competitor's written or advertised price. Also, for a limited time with our express service, 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotation for only $36.95 and full synthetic oil for just $46.95, and no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service specials tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, then come to Kraft Nissan. We service all makes and models, and we want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Call 576-6171.
The madness is coming to the corner pocket.
They're in trouble. Desperation. Yes!
Choose the place with Tallahassee's best TVs. The Corner Pockets Vegas Wall. 8 50-inch crystal clear flat screens. You won't miss a second of the action. Corner Pockets, your headquarters for the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! Good! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets. Come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
2 men out, and the pitch to Swanson. Swinging a line drive left field. That's a base hit. Braves win. Dansby Swanson.
Chop it up, Braves fans. This is your new home. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster. You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
We got rather long-winded that first hour, talking about 58-54, the end of a regular season, postseason run that sees the Noles reach the Elite Eight. So much so that I nearly forgot to mention that the pads popping. All right, now we get to see the goodness as we move towards that first scrimmage. We'll have a couple of those before the spring game. Look forward to it. And this segment being shortened as it is, I probably should hold off and get more into it with our friend Irash Shafel of warchant.com, who will be joining us momentarily at the top of the hour. In fact, I will do that and get some observations from him.
He's been all over the lot. He was out in L.A., and I saw that he had the practice report on warchant.com this morning, so he's been moving and shaking.
Yeah, that's a toughie, man. That's worn to a frazzle. But good stuff, man. You're covering the Elite Eight. Now you're covering spring practice, so if you got to get up and move and do something, as Willie Taggart likes to say, you're doing something cool.
Well, it looks like what's open to the media, too, as they, entrench the beat and they figure everything out. It's not the same old underwear football where they're just doing stretches and then they kick you out. Looks like you're allowed to watch some things.
Yeah, watch some things, including a sort of version of Oklahoma drill that featured a trucking by Jock Patrick, who's want to do that. Big, strong man. I imagine he's going to have fun in this offense, as are all the running backs, I would add. And I know this just from watching the video highlights. Spirited is a good way to describe what's going on at practice.
I know you would rather see under center, goal line, short yardage. I would too. But if we have a downhill nastiness to us out of the shotgun, I would think we can compromise on that, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're given something to get something, and what you give up sometimes are elements of things that you like about other offenses, but to run yours, and that's okay. I mean, I get it. I mean, you can incorporate other aspects, and they will, and we certainly know that. And any number of things we've heard from Willie seems to suggest that. And also, just going back and looking at his track record, you can see those different types of offenses that he incorporates with what he does. So, yeah. Mainly, Tom, if they kick ass and win a lot of games, we won't really worry about how it's being done, just that it is.
Minor oversight.
Just whatever. Irash warchant.com joins us next. Didn't mention baseball. They did take 2 out of 3 over the weekend, and I should at some point talk to you about that, and I will next hour.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
TNT.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Gravely, built to mow the distance.
With over 150 of them in stock, the Gravely Zero Turns start at just $28.99. Go to TNTSuperCenter.com for current inventory and pricing.
What do you hear? Most people just hear an engine. We hear a 6.2-liter Hemi V8 with a supercharger that accelerates so fast, it'll suck the air out of your lungs and knock you back in your seat like you're an astronaut in a rocket ship hurtling through the stratosphere. But then again, we're not most people. We're the Brotherhood of Muscle. Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. Dodge is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Pick up Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant for $8.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Protect against damaging rust and corrosion with Peak Premixed Coolant, now $8.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Bandito's Burritos, my friend?
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. One day after Giants co-owner John Mara, unhappy with some off-field issues, said Odell Beckham Jr. was not untouchable, didn't rule out the possibility of trading arguably the most talented receiver in the NFL. Co-owner Steve Tisch, a little more conciliatory, said he hopes Beckham remains a Giant this season and for years to come, but added a contract extension, not the team's utmost concern at this point. New York does need to sign Beckham, in the opinion of ESPN's Teddy Bruschi.
He's a talent that deserves it. He needs to be, it's all about timing, and the timing is he would probably be the highest paid wide receiver in the game. Is that good enough for him, though? You know, he's talked about being the highest paid offensive player, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. On the field, the talent is undeniable, and it's someone that, to me, he belongs in New York.
ESPN's Jordan Renan reports the Giants will sign former Dolphins defensive back Mike Thomas. 26-year-old NBA G League player for the Grand Rapids Drive, Zeke Upshaw, has died 2 days after collapsing on the court near the end of a game. The Drive is affiliated with the Detroit Pistons.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, if you miss portions of the program, we'll post all 3 hours upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can always email us. Appreciate your input, jcs@979espnradio.com. If you're watching on Twitter, you can. That's right, watching at 979 ESPN Radio. You can Periscope the show. On YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. And if you want to follow me, it's at Jay Cameron Show. I know Ira's tired, so I'm not going to make him wait. I won't even get into the intros. We'll just get straight to it. My man, Irashfel, warchant.com. He's been a globetrotter all over the place. Los Angeles to Tallahassee to warchant.com to read all the stories in between. Hello, good sir.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing? I'm
good.
You sure
fun few days.
Yeah. How was L.A., buddy? Did you get to see Javier?
I did not. I went to that establishment 2 times. Didn't find him, so I feel like I've moved on in my life, and it was good. I didn't do much of the sightseeing that we did during the football trips,
right?
But it was still a good time for sure.
Well, all right, let's get to it then. I'm sorry you didn't run into Javier, but I admire that you gave it a good, honest run. All right, so this was, you look at the game that FSU loses to Michigan 58-54, and I said in the first hour, it was not real hard for me to move on from it in that I feel like Michigan did what they needed to do. If you're not gonna allow Florida State to score in transition off a fast break and provide no fast break points, it's a kind of a miracle Florida State was even in the game, and in a way a testament to really the reason that they won and played as well as they did in the NCAA tournament is that they played very good defense in these games, and they were still in it with a chance to win it at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. I mean, at one point late in the game, I just tweeted, "This is a great game," and a bunch of people tweeted back at me. Depends on your perspective, because at that point Florida State was down, but just Florida State got down 10 twice.
Yeah,
and came back both times, and there was nothing fluky about any of it. I just thought it was 2 teams. What was interesting about it is I went into that game and I said, there's 2. Each team has a real strength that I think can neutralize the other team. On Florida State's side, they can go small and match up with Michigan's bigs. The Wagner kid.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to the Michigan writers, they said that he's had trouble when people have bigs that can move and guard him out on the perimeter, and I thought Florida State could do that. On the other hand, I thought Florida State would have a little bit of trouble getting off in transition because Michigan's very good at that. They don't even worry about offensive rebounds. They're getting back on defense, and both those things came true. Both of those teams executed what they could do, and that's what you saw is 2 teams that really had to struggle to score. Michigan couldn't get the 3-point shooting going at all. Florida State couldn't get their transition game. So now it comes down, okay, who can figure out a way to get buckets? And I thought Michigan did a little bit better job than Florida State did, and like you said, I didn't walk away from that game saying, man, Florida State missed a huge opportunity. I thought, all things being equal, I think the better team may have probably won, and I thought Florida State had a tremendous run through the tournament.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, you go back and look at it, Florida State played catch-up for all but 45 seconds of the second half. So they were constantly having to fight back, like you just noted, where they'd get down 10 or they'd get down 12 and they'd fight and they'd fight and they'd fight. And in that sense, you're very proud of them for coming back, I think, if you're a Knoll, because they're doing it against a very good defensive team in Michigan. So the fact that they fought back and they were able to play well on their own defensive side of the ball and then come down and give themselves opportunities, that's all you can really ask for. At the end of the day, I do think the better team won the game, and in that sense, it's hard to be frustrated. You had 2 looks at it late, and if they fall, who knows? Maybe Michigan begins to feel that pressure. Obviously, it doesn't happen. My explanation for why Florida State didn't foul in the final 11 seconds was that it was a mistake. The bench was, and you were there, so I want to get your perspective. They were imploring players to foul. I think a mistake was made by the guys on the floor. It looks like when I look at the replay, you've got coaches telling them to foul. They don't, and Ham's not going to roll his players in a post-game interview. And that kind of is what played out with Dana Jacobson, I think. I also didn't have a problem with the question, and it's just an unfortunate way that played out for a lot of the nation to watch Leonard Hamilton for the first time. But I actually didn't have a problem because I think the coaches were telling him to foul. They just didn't.
Well, I think it was kind of a I think it was an unfortunate sequence in a couple different ways down the stretch. I think number one, a lot of people have said, well, why are they shooting threes at the end? Why aren't they attacking the basket?
Yeah.
And I agree with that, except for the fact that they tried to attack the basket for about 38 minutes with very little success. So I agree that it wasn't time. You don't necessarily have to relax, or you don't have to rely on threes in that situation. But at the same time, they were having no luck getting inside. So I understand why they were thinking that. And the other part of it is, why not fouling the kid when he gets that rebound? Well, they had just fouled him and he hit 2 free throws, and I'm sure they were telling them right before then, foul anybody but that guy. Well, then he gets the ball, and I think Mann was trying to force him to give it up, but the kid was like, no, I'm the only good free throw shooter on this team. I'm not giving the ball up. Well, at that point, once 2 or 3 seconds go by, it's over. By the time Mann backed off and Leonard walked away and everything, it wasn't 11 or 13 seconds. It was like 9 seconds or 8 seconds. And at that point, it was over. So I do think that, Mann, I think, understood the situation. In any other situation, you don't want to foul that guy. But once it gets to 11 or 12 seconds, you have to foul whoever has the ball. So it was just, a couple of unfortunate things. But at the end of the day, I don't think it, mattered. And as far as the Dana Jacobson thing, I understand where Leonard's coming from, because the way she asked the question, first of all, as a journalist, if you're going to if you were interviewing Leonard Hamilton after that game and you wanted to ask that question, that would not have been your first question. Your first question would have been something about the game, the disappointment, just saluting his team for.
Right. You're going to let him talk about the team for the run, right?
For the run, saluting the team for the run, talk about how close you were to the Final Four and the achievement of the team, and then come back to it, because then you got a better chance of getting the answer. The way she asked it, to me, I think, TBS or TNT, whatever channel it was on, I think they wanted a reaction. They got a reaction. But, I think that the way she asked it, I think he took it as that's why they lost the game. And that's not why they lost the game. And now she can say, well, I wasn't saying it was. But when that's your first question, Coach, why didn't you foul in the last 10 seconds? He took it as, well, that's not why we lost the game. So I don't blame him for his reaction. I don't blame her for asking the question. I think they wanted a reaction. They got a reaction. I think he feels like he could have handled it better, and he certainly could have handled it better, but I don't blame him for being upset because, again, I don't think she really wanted an answer. I think they wanted a reaction.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any question somebody was in her ear to ask the question repeatedly, right? I mean, I think that's what they were telling her, to make sure you ask him this, and so she felt that she had to. I give her credit for keeping her composure and not trying to elevate that when he came back rather angry. But at the end of the day, that's a sidebar deal. This is a run now that we're left to look back on. I think most people are obviously very proud of a team that makes the Elite Eight that just lost all that they did in the off season, and now we look ahead. And I want to ask you, Ira, what are the chances that they get Phil Kofer back? Have you had a chance to talk to the coaches and ask them about percentages or how much they think that's a reality? Is that something they think can really happen?
The coaches are they really don't know. I did talk to somebody in the administration who feels like it's probably a long shot, but you never know, and you got to give it a shot. The person I talked to over the weekend felt like it's probably more of a long shot. It's less than 50-50, but even if it's 30-70, you'd love to have it. The big thing is you hope that they come to a conclusion. The NCAA comes to a decision pretty quickly. Then that way, Phil can move on, Florida State can move on, or they'll know that they've got him back.
Yeah, you get a lot of things back that you got to be very excited about if you're Florida State, and we saw the strides certain players took this year in improving their game. If that continues, then you're in very good shape. And I guess I've never asked you at any point this year because we were focused on the players that were out there. But talk to me about the guy that is the redshirt and swingman, Raekwon Gray, and they talk about him being immensely talented, just needed to lose weight. What do you know of him?
Yeah, I've seen him, some in pickup. I saw him a little bit before the season in the practice before they decided to redshirt him, and he's super impressive. And I can tell you just, talking to Leonard about him, we were sitting there one day before preseason practice, and Leonard just said, he kind of pointed to him, kind of nudged at him and said, this guy right here, and just kind of nodded. And I said, so he kind of looks like Dimitri Hill. Remember the kid from Florida?
Yeah.
Dimitri Hill from St. Pete. And he's like, nah, man. He goes, this kid is so much more skilled than that. He can shoot. He can pass. He's just got a great feel for the game. Again, not in a much different body. I think he's got some of the things you like about Trent Forrest, and that he's just got really good vision, really good passer, just an all-around good basketball player. And to your point, I mean, you think about a team coming back with Trent Forrest, if he, comes back and has a full off season, is healthy, Terrence Mann, you just
MJ
look
Walker,
around
you get MJ Walker.
MJ Walker, the growth he's going to make this year. Then you got the big guys, and Obiagu, and I mean, it's really going into games next year, and that Engel is a big loss. He really is at both ends of the floor, but I think you look at this team and just say, man, they're going to go into next year with a team that's much more polished and much more ready. I think battle ready than a lot of teams they're going to play. And I really hope Leonard schedules differently. A lot of times when he has a young team, he schedules really late in the non-conference. He did that this year. This is a team where I'd like to see him really kind of step it up in scheduling because, they should be able to play with a lot of people early in the year.
They should be, and their expectations will be very different from last year at the start of this year to where they'll be next year, which is that last year, as we started this season here, most people didn't expect much. People will be expecting a lot out of them next year. They should. I agree with you. I hope he chooses to test this group early because I think they're tough enough to handle some adversity early, and they're skilled enough to overcome some losses if that happens. If they really schedule tough. Let me ask you about football. You come right back and you get to cover this, and they're in pads or out there hitting. Anything noticeably different on the first day of pads from, say, the previous regime?
One little thing I thought was interesting is the quarterbacks are not wearing green jerseys. So it looks like they're going to be live. Now, I don't know if they're going to be live all the time or just some of the time, and certainly DeAndre Francois won't be. But that might make more sense as to why DeAndre won't be able to do a lot of the 11-on-11 stuff. As they've said. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. At least when we were out there, they weren't in non-contact jerseys. Otherwise, they watched them run some of the Oklahoma drills when we first got there. I thought, that drill is always funny. I've seen it run different ways, and sometimes, they have more space to get through. You've got the blocker, and if you got an elusive back, there's more space to kind of maneuver. And this was really tight, man. Sometimes the running back was running right into the blocker and the defensive player. They were encouraging as much contact as possible, and it wasn't all. Not every rep was great, but some of them were really good. Keith Gavin obviously had the big block that everybody posted on social media, and Jacquez Patrick ran over Janarius Robinson. No, I just think it's good. I think it's as Jacquez Patrick said before the practice this is when you're going to find out if people are who they say they are, which
right.
I thought was awesome.
Yeah, it's a great quote. Yeah.
And and again, it's fun to see those guys, jumping all over the place. But at the end of the day, you got to hit somebody, and I think this week will give the coaches a better idea of who. Willie Taggart said, "Well, we know who can compete based on fourth quarter drills," and it's like, well, you do, but sometimes when the pads come out, you really know who's ready to compete.
No, that's the whole thing, right? Once you get the pads on, you find out the deal. It's going to be spirited. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a chance to talk about it again later on. Good talking to you, Ira. Get some rest, buddy.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, be well. Irash Fell, warchant.com, joins us every Monday. Yeah, we're just now scratching the surface with spring football. Now that the pads are on, as we said before, everybody looks really good when they're in shorts and a T-shirt, and they're really athletic. You wouldn't be here otherwise.
You were there, obviously, for a longer time on Wednesday than I was when the first open practice happened.
Yeah.
I just wonder, because I got to see him moving around from place to place. He wasn't as glued to the quarterbacks as Jimbo was.
Right.
And it's something for, Ira, too, down the line. What is Willie like rep to rep, play to play, presence-wise? When Jimbo, you knew it was almost like the pulpit moved where Jimbo went, and everybody was below the pulpit, and he looked down on everything. Even though he was on the field, most players are taller than him. With Willie, it didn't seem that way for the half an hour I saw it.
Well, to your point, and I'll tell you this, you're right. I was there I was there almost the entirety of that first practice, and talked to people since that time that have seen the others. And Willie is kind of quiet in practice, by and large. Now, he was so far. And he's also kind of stealth in the way that he the ebbs and flows of what he's doing. Now, he's watching his offense, but he's allowing the other coaches to coach and be very, very vocal. And he's kind of, surveying the land, getting an in-zone view, if you will, not standing behind the quarterbacks, but rather back, on the back end of the defense and watching that. and then going from station to station, if you will, and kind of he's kind of quiet. Now, he picked his moments. There were 2 times I told you that there were 2 times that he felt the need to step in quickly, correct an improper movement or rep that he didn't think the player was executing properly. But it wasn't elongated. It was just an in and out sort of thing. And then, pat on the helmet, let's go, and move it along.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, again, contact can breed some hard feelings on both
absolutely.
sides of the ball.
Especially if you're on the wrong end of a truck.
And Willie's an offensive guy. If the defense wins, you know how Jimbo was. If the offense was losing on a given day, he wouldn't be very happy. But, even though I haven't worked on the beat in a long time, I could tell you that even after the IPF was built and the practice fields were done, redone, resodded, you heard 3 things echo out of the practice fields: the whistle, the contact, and Jimbo yelling. And those are the only 3 things you heard, and it's so different fundamentally now than it was from those days. You knew where Jimbo was at all times.
Well, you hear a lot more now, and it's always music. So, I mean, that's the interesting part, is that even if Willie is talking and he's being boisterous, you're not necessarily going to hear it unless you're right where he is, because they've got music blaring the whole time, and it's fun to watch. It's actually fun to be out there, if only because guys are grooving and they're having a good time. They're getting work done. It's almost exactly what he described would happen when he said, look, I want it to be lively. I want it to be spirited. We're getting work done, but there's nothing against having some fun when the work is getting done, and we're going to do that, I promise you. And so far from what I've seen, both being present and then also when you see these video clips, that's exactly what's happening, man. When guys are waiting for their rep, they're having fun. And in between reps, they're having a good time during water breaks and everything else. But then they get in there, and it's spirited competition. They get after it, yelling at each other, having a good time, celebrating big moments. When a player makes a play, clearly they've been encouraged to support and celebrate great plays, big plays, moments where somebody shines are rewarded right then and there by teammates. It's not just coaches going, good job, and moving on. Everybody celebrates that moment. And I think that's all part and parcel to what he said before about we're going to have fun. We're going to get unified. We're going to be together as one. If the defense makes a good play, we can all celebrate that. Same with the offense. Everybody can be there to win. Everybody knows what a good play is. Everybody knows when a guy's going above and beyond. No reason not to celebrate that. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Why does Mahindra have 97% satisfaction? Ask our owners.
This gives me the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I decided on Mahindra just because of the sheer strength, the size, the ease of the workability, and it was more of a comfortable machine than the others.
You could lift just about anything with that thing. It has never let me down.
And now get the industry's best 7-year limited powertrain warranty on select models.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Only from Mahindra.
For more information and to view TNT's huge Mahindra inventory, go to TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
The cut is sharper. The stance is bolder. The rider is comfier. The frame is stronger. The controls are smarter. The handling is smoother. When it comes to professional-grade performance, no mower is greater than a Gravely Zero Turn. Be more than just a mower. Be prouder. Be greater. Be a Gravely owner. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
With over 150 of them in stock, the Gravely Zero Turns start at just $28.99. Go to TNTSuperCenter.com for current inventory and pricing.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I feel like it's crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's just the run. It's probably just the run, but I feel like Florida State baseball is an afterthought. I'm not even being critical. They've played well. They're winning games and rolling on, and this weekend was no different. And yet, if you think about in terms of priority of coverage for the last number of weeks, it is obviously the build-up to spring football. It is, without question, the story of FSU basketball and the run to the Elite Eight. And baseball is very much on the back burner, which is, again, a testament to just how significant that basketball run was, because that just doesn't happen around here, even for teams that have made the tournament. The bottom line is Florida State baseball, wildly popular, wildly successful, year in and year out. You have a Hall of Fame coach who's chasing the all-time wins record. This is a team that had huge expectations coming into the season. Now, I'll grant you some of that was dampened a little bit when you found out your ace was lost for the season after one start. But the team was deep enough, talented enough that you figured they could still win the ACC, they could still host regionals, and make it back out to Omaha. So the expectations didn't drop off that much. And they're winning games, and yet we're just kind of, we'll get to baseball. We'll get there. Maybe that's the byproduct of a bunch of things, a confluence of events, as I like to say. Football, spring football, new coach, all that stuff is a big part of it. Florida State's run in basketball, and the fact that this team every year wins 40 games or more and goes to the postseason and hosts. Because even last year, where they're one game above 500 through 31 games, they still did that. They still ended up, achieving what is the norm around here.
Yeah, this is all very, very logical. I mean, I'm a diehard Mets fan and a diehard Lightning fan, but the seasons are opposite one another. So if the Mets make the playoffs, the Lightning can wait. and the Lightning make the playoffs, well, the Mets can wait. I'll get to them hopefully in mid-June after a cup run.
Right.
So that's what's happening here with the basketball team. You're not used to this. We're not used to these types of postseason performances, and we got 2 weekends out of it, which was awesome. And then, yes, the new car smell of the new coaching staff here leading up to the spring game in mid-April. There will be plenty of time for the baseball team. And it's also the spoiled nature of a fan base that, you're right, is used to going to the postseason every year. But our attention's going to turn to them, and it's going to turn to them this week.
Well, and I also, once again, want to note that Tough Love Cameron came through. Old Tough Love did it again. Jackson Luke earned his first career ACC Player of the Week honors. Tom, I don't know what more proof needs to be about Tough Love Cameron coming through for this program in a way that should be noted, perhaps by the people at Seminoles.com and elsewhere. I've talked about some shortcomings in his game and the need to step up and ante up when it's all on the line. And, with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs this week after Tough Love Cameron paid a visit, I'd say he answered.
Well, maybe you could talk to some tough love into Leonard Hamilton because he needs all the tough love he can get to win a big game. Dude never wins a big game.
I doubt there are very many of those guys around talking that nonsense right now. They had to unfortunately stand down for them. They're just like, damn it, want another one? What the hell am I gonna do? My theater's been blown to hell. Maybe I'll turn my ire to Martin.
See, he didn't foul. I told you.
Florida State's Jackson Luke has been voted the ACC Player of the Week, while Boston College's Dan Mesdorf. Who really cares about Dan Mesdorf winning Pitcher of the Week? Get the hell out of here with that. We're only caring about Jackson Luke.
See you later, Mesdorf.
I mentioned the 3 home runs, 10 RBIs to lead the Noles to a 2-game sweep of UCF and a series victory at North Carolina. And by the way, that 6-4 win on Tuesday. He hit a home run in that game. Added one on Friday at North Carolina. Followed up Nick Durr's grand slam with a solo shot in our 5-run 8th inning on Sunday. Get you a little 5-run 8th, North Carolina.
That Nick Durr grand slam had some legs on it.
Yeah.
Surprised Lulu on the radio
He
call.
caught him.
And if you watch the video, it's true. Even the cameraman's like, you could see him pan to left field, and it looks like it's going to be a routine fly, and it just keeps going and going until it's gone.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. You're right. It caught our friend Eric off guard there. And I know that can be tough. That's frustrating because if you know it's gone, you can set up the call in grandiose fashion.
Right. Well, yes, grandiose indeed with a capital grand for a grand slam. But even the left fielder, he's waiting at the wall. It looks like a Yankee Stadium home run where the outfielder's like, I am prevented from getting under this ball by this wall.
By this nonsense stadium.
So inconveniently placed. I would really prefer this wall to be moved.
Luke had a season-high 3 hits in the second game of Friday's doubleheader, set a season-high with 4 RBIs in the first game. He walked 3 times. He reached base at a 417 clip. So that's gonna get it done. You're welcome, Luke. If you'd like, you can give me a ring and thank me later. You don't have to do it now. You're locked in. I want you to stay focused on what you got to do. Oh, don't worry. If you don't, Tough Love will find his way back on the airwaves.
I don't know. We might want to pump the brakes on Tough Love Cameron because it might be an impermissible benefit to a student athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's something you're giving to this student athlete that no other student athlete gets.
Oh, well, our tennis team is doing great things these days. They knocked off the #1 ranked team in all the land, and Tough Love Cameron didn't need to pay a visit. They did that all on their own.
The Fighting Holtquists, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Dwayne's doing good things over there with FSU tennis. Proud of that. The TCC women's basketball team, I think, won the national championship.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, that's what they did.
They didn't need any tough love.
No, I didn't know they existed, let alone we're in contention to win a national title.
But now it's all love.
Nothing but love in celebration of a national title for TCC. Good for them. Did you know TCC had a women's basketball team?
I figured they probably did, but, I wouldn't have thought about it unless you asked me the question. That's probably where I would have gone.
I'm proud of them nonetheless. I had no idea, but if you're going to find out that they exist, it's always nice to do so after they've won a national championship. That's good stuff. But Tough Love is around for the baseball team. But not just Jackson Luke, anybody on the roster. I sense the love needs to,
That's right.
to be toughened. I'll toughen it.
Yeah, there'll be some.
I'll find the tough.
Pretty soon.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and the full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Spotlight. Come check out all of the new DeWalt products at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. While you're there, check out the most powerful cordless kit on the planet, FlexFold. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, online at ctf.nu.
Capital Rubber and Industrial Supply invites you to come on by and see them. A locally owned and operated company proudly serving the Tallahassee area since 1987, Capital Rubber specializes in hydraulic hose, fitting and adapters, supply industrial hoses and fittings, along with rubber and gasketing products for automotive farming and industrial needs. Capital Rubber sells fuel, air and water, steam, pressure wash, and discharge hose, just to name a few. Capital Rubber's friendly, knowledgeable staff offers more than 50 years of experience to assist you with all your needs. Call them today at 575-1811 or stop by today at 130 Progress Drive behind TCC.
AmeriGas Propane would like to take this time to thank their valued customers for their business. At AmeriGas, serving their customers in a safe and responsible manner is their top priority. They're proud to be a part of the local community and participate in the many activities that support local charities and organizations that improve the neighborhoods where we all work, live, and play. For your propane needs, call on AmeriGas Propane. Call 877-1122.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. As most of you know, it's that time of year again. Tax refund time. What does that mean for all of us? It means that every single car dealer in town will be trying to shout the loudest for you to bring in your tax refund. Bring in your W-2s, and they will put you in a car. A used car that is nothing like what you really want. Well, guess what? Kraft Nissan's New For You program is an absolute game changer. We don't need your tax return. We don't need to see your W-2. And absolutely the best of all, we will not sell you an overpriced used car. And that is exactly why at Kraft Nissan, we call it the New For You program. We will plug your information into our system, which approves 4 out of 5 people with damage credit, and at the end of the day, you will drive away in a brand new Nissan, with or without a tax refund. You know the deal. Recently divorced? No problem. Recent bankruptcy? No problem. Credit score under 600? No problem. And it's not tied to taxes. Come see how easy it is for you to drive away in a new Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag in your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MP46050.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. One day after Giants co-owner John Mara, unhappy with some off-field issues, said Odell Beckham Jr. was not untouchable, didn't rule out the possibility of trading arguably the most talented receiver in the NFL. Co-owner Steve Tisch, a little more conciliatory, said he hopes Beckham remains a Giant this season and for years to come, but added a contract extension. Not the team's utmost concern at this point. New York does need to sign Beckham, in the opinion of ESPN's Teddy Bruschi.
He's a talent that deserves it. He needs to be, it's all about timing, and the timing is he would probably be the highest paid wide receiver in the game. Is that good enough for him, though? You know, he's talked about being the highest paid offensive player, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. On the field, the talent is undeniable, and it's someone that, to me, he belongs in New York.
ESPN's Jordan Renan reports the Giants will sign former Dolphins defensive back Mike Thomas. 26-year-old NBA G League player for the Grand Rapids Drive, Zeke Upshaw, has died 2 days after collapsing on the court near the end of a game. The Drive is affiliated with the Detroit Pistons.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Look at Bill Self's wig over the weekend. Did you watch any of the post-game interviews with Bill Self's wig?
No, I didn't watch the post-game. We watched the end of the game together.
We did, but I saw him on the side of the court there, and I don't know if you caught it in any of the previous games. I've been really carefully inspecting Bill Self's wig, and I feel like as wigs go, there's nobody. The weave that Tom Brady has is one, along with Matthew McConaughey, that is for the ages. You just aren't going to see too many high-end wigs like Matthew McConaughey's and Tom Brady's.
I think you can't unsee Brady's, though, once you first spot it, whereas McConaughey, sometimes you can't tell, and that's where it's incredible.
Whatever amount of money Matthew McConaughey spends on his weave, it's not enough because they do the Lord's work. I mean, it's unbelievable. Nobody should have a head of hair. People who have real hair, thick flowing locks, don't have hair that look as good as Matthew McConaughey's fake hair.
I told you, I've never been as mad at him as I was when he took the mound for the Dodgers game. He stood on the rubber, first pitch against the Mets, and he fires a strike right down the middle, probably 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, it makes you mad. You're like, okay, so you're gorgeous, really rich, you're owner of the best weave of all time, and you got a little game. Sure you do. He's also apparently a really good golfer, so you'd hate him every day.
Oh, yeah.
He's not the guy you bring around your girlfriend. That's just not the guy.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah.
Well, I do it better.
Well, he can do a lot of things probably better than all of us, and it's just one of those things that's very frustrating. What are you going to do? He's that guy. And I'm sure he's super nice. It's probably pretty cool, which would make you dislike him even more.
Well, who was the goalie on the Cup-winning Lightning team? Well, that was Nick Hobby-Bullen, man, and I thought Mike Smith was pretty good, too.
Okay, is there nothing?
Yeah.
Is there nothing?
John Graham should have actually probably played there in the second round.
Damn it, man.
Well, he's right.
He's always right.
He's right.
And he's gorgeous. And look at that. He's really athletic, too. And he does fun things.
They had 720 goal scorers on that team, Tom.
So, anyhow, I've been debating with Bill Self. I thought he was the next candidate to enter into the upper echelon of the Hall of Fame, potential Hall of Fame weaves. And Brady, I'm telling you now, when you look at Brady's now, it is every bit the part. It is as good as McConaughey's. He's come that far. Go look at Brady last year in the postseason. Go look at him. There's a couple of moments on the sideline he takes his helmet off. You would swear that is real hair. It's never looked better. He has invested, as he has made more money over the years. He has invested handsomely in the upkeep and the upgrade of that weave. The only way you know, partly because I'm obsessed with this stuff and I'm really good at it, the only way you know Tom Brady's hair is a lie is go back to when he's first losing hair. The early signs are there. Plus, look at his dad. So you know where that was going. And then all of a sudden, one day he walks out. You're like, what the hell's going on here? He's freaking Bono over here with hair down to his shoulders. What happened? What kind of offseason was this? And I was like, oh, I know exactly what kind of offseason that was. And then there was the article that came out where they caught him. See, McConaughey's been really good. They haven't been able to catch him. Brady went to a specialist in New York City or Boston, one of the two, and they spotted his car. He was in there for like 8 hours. They were doing serious work in there. So then they had him. That was the end of it.
Well, my hair follicles have more pliability than yours.
Yeah, so between he and McConaughey, we're talking about the creme de la creme of weaves. You know what I've ever understood? I'm quite sure Carl Ravitch has money. I mean, he's been working at ESPN for a long time.
He and Lenardi.
Oh, my God. That just goes to show you, Lenardi and Ravitch, they don't have Tom Brady McConaughey money.
Right.
And there's a big difference between what you can get. If you got Brady McConaughey money, that ought to be a person, by the way, Brady McConaughey. Nice to meet you, Brady McConaughey.
Oh, God.
I'm nearly perfect. Anyhow, so
Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Knew the McMahons growing up.
Without a doubt. So Brady McConaughey money gets you a Lions mane. It's unbelievable. Ravitch Lenardi gets you clip-ons. Some sort of snap-on nonsense that's just ridiculous. No discernible hairline.
We can go with a waxy adhesive, sir, if you prefer. You just can't shower. Is that the staple gun?
It's just, no, they're snapping to the screw they have in their head. They're little, it's like a helmet. And then all right, let's do baseball tonight. So there it is. Ravitch.
It's kind of like dental implants. They're the new craze instead of the dentures, right?
Yeah.
You put like the anchor in there and then drill.
My man doesn't even care, though. One of the things I do admire about, like, Lenardi, good Lord. I don't know what's going on with Lenardi. If you're going to go.
It's the Costanza. That's what it looks like.
It's so bad. If you're going to do the fake hair, at least attempt to do. I mean, give me a style, Joe. Give me a little something.
But wouldn't you appreciate it if he said no?
No,
I'm not.
I just want to wear this.
This is what I wear.
This is what I wear. This doesn't even look like real hair.
Deal with it.
Yeah. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous. Ravitch, I like. He's unwavering dedication to that poof on, never to go gray. Like a lot of people who get weaves at least have the common sense to know that as they enter their 50s, you got a little touch of gray to the weave. You got to add like Shatner has added gray over the years.
Star Trek 6, actually. Go back and look at clips of that movie.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
Shatner has added gray over the years to where now it's just white.
They stay away from the shots directly behind him.
Right.
Because that's where the dead giveaway is.
A lot of times. But in the modern weave, if you got money, they remedy that. But, okay, so back to Bill Self. Bill Self handsomely awarded a salary many moons ago that would be the envy of most. Millions of dollars a year, right? And I criticized him for a long time. I would watch Bill Self come out for these post-game press conferences, and I'd say, you're not even trying. You're not even trying, man. There are two different colors on your head. The top is a different color than the side. There's a bleed-over effect. When you're sweating, it really messes it up because it appears to be coming from nowhere. Like there's no, but this has been his best effort. Some would say this is his best effort in the tournament as a coach. But I'm not worried about what he's done as a basketball coach. I'm looking at that hair, that weave, that fake hair. And I'm saying, okay, we're going in the right direction.
A little self-improvement.
If I could be a consultant, I could go around the globe and really just advise people. Now, myself, I don't want to wear one. I'm not that vain. I don't need it. I got a good bald head. But these people who, they can't live with it. If you're going to do it, I'd advise you to do it right. You got to go all in. When you're a multimillionaire, there's no excuse not to be spending, a couple grand a month on your hair? If that's your thing.
Yeah, probably, right?
Well, that McConaughey thing. I mean, I don't know what he spends, but it's lavish, I'm sure.
Maverick Carter said this weekend that LeBron spends upwards of $1 million to $1.5 million on his body every year in terms of the nutrition.
I thought you were saying his hair. I was like, what?
Oh, no. Well, that would be.
It's absurd.
That would be a sunk cost, sir. No, but, whether he has his own private chef or all the training and the hyperbaric chambers and all this stuff. but he spends over $1 million a year on his body because he's got coin like that.
Well, and it's also an investment in your career, your Hall of Fame career at that, and it's an investment in the very thing that makes you money, so it makes sense. You would want your equipment as a musician to be top of the line. You spend huge money to have the right producers and people that put together high-quality sound for you and your bandmates, etc. That makes sense to me, okay? So if you're going to put, you got to put the money into your body, which is the thing that makes you the money. I guess if you're McConaughey, maybe that's the rationale, right? I'm an actor, and I'm a heartthrob, and I'm a better heartthrob when I've got this crazy flowing mane of hair.
I guess, man. But when he shaves it down, he looks pretty good too. U571, that's the movie where he already has the arrow pointing. He was straight ahead.
Time was of the essence.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were going to do it, that was the time.
But he rocked that look fine.
He did. I don't know why guys do it. I don't. I mean,
Why
if you got Jimbo's head, then you kind of have to do it. Maybe. He's got a ridiculous, lumpy, awkward, sideways head. He couldn't really do much. He probably realized, good Lord, what am I going to do?
Make the island a peninsula.
Yeah, he had to do something. Yeah, he knew he was in trouble. But then he stopped investing. And now that he makes $75 million, he ought to invest again.
It should be a Texas-style haircut right there.
If I were him, it's so absurd what's going on at Texas A&M anyhow. He's out there with cowpokes, half-stepping in his stupid-ass boots, judging freaking rodeos. Losers walk into his office with unreal expectations. He's just got to wear it. If I were him, I'd go all in. I'd be like, okay, if I'm going to be a clown, then where do you see what I show up as tomorrow?
I want bleach blonde Gundy.
I'd have hair down to my breasts. It would just be flowing in the wind as I rode in on my motorcycle. It would be like, what is going on over here? I would have hair. I'm trying to think who I'd want it styled after. And I really wouldn't even care if it looked real. Like, I would just go all in on playing the role of buffoon.
There's an 80s hair metal superstar. There's got to be out there, right?
Well, there's any number of guys that, maybe I'd do the Andre Agassi from back in the day. Remember that ridiculousness? Go Agassi on him. Yeah. Go Agassi on him. Spiky on the top,
Look
long
at me,
in the back.
Gundy. I got you.
And if anybody asked me about it, what are you talking about? Well, I'm the same as I was yesterday.
He did that anyway.
But nobody asked him about the hair.
No, but any question that was tough. Well, that's not what we do.
Yeah. No.
Huh?
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good job.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Could you turn that down a little, please? Hello, my name is Jim Smith, and I'm the owner of Poor Paul's here in Tallahassee. First, I want to thank you all for stopping. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm here on the Capitol steps and why I don't have any clothes on.
Because you're a pervert.
Let me explain. This is being recorded for a Poor Paul's radio commercial, and I think if I record it totally nude, people will pay more attention to my message. Business is great at Poor Paul's, but I still have one small problem.
I'll say you do.
My problem is that in spite of having free Gumby's Pizza and $4.95 pitchers every Sunday and Monday night, free beer and free mixed drinks for our lovely ladies every Tuesday night, and other great money-saving specials every other night of the week, some of you are still going to other bars. Bars whose owners would never bare their souls, so to speak, as I am. So I'm simply asking for your business so Poor Paul's can grow.
I see something else that needs to grow.
This isn't working. Hand me that towel, please.
I have a hanky.
2 men out, and the pitch to Swanson. Swinging a line drive left field. That's a base hit. Braves win. Dansby Swanson.
Chop it up, Braves fans. This is your new home. 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster. You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Matt Millar writes, Kenny G! He'd want the Kenny G hair. Go all in. Blair writes, at Jay Cameron Show, I'm thinking Jimbo would probably try to pull off the Brad Pitt hair from Legends of the Fall, but would end up looking like Chris Elliott in Scary Movie 2.
I'll bet that's funny, but I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, it is funny. It's good. I know exactly what he's talking about.
You've seen Legends of the Fall?
I have.
Can't say I have.
It's good. You've never seen it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. At Jay Cameron Show while we're answering questions. How about sending some love to the FSU men? I already did. Rodney already did. Already talked about the FSU men's tennis team knocking off the #1 ranked team in the land, which, by the way, I was surprised is Wake Forest. And again, I shouldn't be surprised.
Out in the woods. Just
go get them, Wake Forest.
Hitting forehands.
Ain't beating Florida State, though. At Jay Cameron Show, how concerned are you with Nooney's injury? Not like he's an 80-catch guy. Maybe if the other guys were here and children like Thompson and Harrison had sit for 2 years, imagine if freshman wide receivers came in game ready. I'm not overly concerned about Nooney Murray's injury. I'm not a fan of being so thin at wide receiver currently as we get into this. But once we get to the fall, we'll be all right. Everything will be okay. Now I'm thinking of all the great weaves. Or poor ones. Because I feel like that's what you got to do. You got to go all in, kick ass, crazy money weave, or
Bob Einstein's is terrible from Curb. You know.
Oh, that's right.
That is a terrible.
He's had it forever.
It's that weird color blonde, too.
You're like, that's not even.
Oh, my God.
There was a guy that used to go over to Borders when we had a Borders here.
Yeah.
I'd get lucky to catch him about once a month at the magazine rack, and I could not stop staring. It was this reddish clip-on thing that I would take pictures of from behind.
Is it a phenomenon that people at bookstores are just angry?
Well, it's a weird mix at
two
bookstores.
times in a row.
I'm a big fan of bookstores, but there's a weird mix.
Twice in a row. People just have
angry people?
Yes, about everything.
At the bookstore?
Yes.
Why could you? How would you be angry reading a book, drinking
coffee?
Angry in
the parking lot, and I just happen to follow them in. Follow them in. Then I see them 10 minutes later. They're by the music, and they're complaining about things.
I will tell you this: if you're in a parking lot where their bookstore is now, currently, it is a terrible parking lot. I mean, I've been frustrated. That's a little overcrowded, a little congested. Yeah.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
At Advanced Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need. And we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now at Advanced, premium oil brands like Castrol, Mobil, Valvoline, and Pennzoil are all on sale. Choose 5 quarts and an oil filter starting as low as $23.99 for your oil change. Only at Advanced or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores. Advanced Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be. See store for details. Limit 5 oil change specials per customer. Valvoline bottles may vary by store.
The March of Dimes and HCA Healthcare are committed to the best possible start for every baby. I'm Amy Casari, Vice President of HCA Women and Children's Services, where we have the honor of delivering over 200,000 babies a year. We partner with the March of Dimes on research and fundraising to help build a brighter future for babies everywhere. So march with us on one of the many HCA teams assembled nationwide. Learn more at marchforbabies.org/HCA.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac is back at it, supporting the High School Scholar Athlete of the Month on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Listen every Wednesday to hear our monthly winners. Check them out at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMCCadillac.com.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. One day after Giants co-owner John Mara, unhappy with some off-field issues, said Odell Beckham Jr. was not untouchable, didn't rule out the possibility of trading arguably the most talented receiver in the NFL. Co-owner Steve Tisch, a little more conciliatory, said he hopes Beckham remains a Giant this season and for years to come, but added a contract extension. Not the team's utmost concern at this point. New York does need to sign Beckham, in the opinion of ESPN's Teddy Bruschi.
He's a talent that deserves it. He needs to be, it's all about timing, and the timing is he would probably be the highest paid wide receiver in the game. Is that good enough for him, though? You know, he's talked about being the highest paid offensive player, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. On the field, the talent is undeniable, and it's someone that, to me, he belongs in New York.
ESPN's Jordan Renan reports the Giants will sign former Dolphins defensive back Mike Thomas. 26-year-old NBA G League player for the Grand Rapids Drive, Zeke Upshaw, has died 2 days after collapsing on the court near the end of a game. The Drive is affiliated with the Detroit Pistons.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss things. Sometimes you miss things. When that happens, you can always get caught up at your leisure, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. We'll post all 3 hours of the program upon its conclusion. So get caught up that way. Thanks for listening. Email the show if you want. It's jcs at 979 ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, it's at JCameron Show. It's also at 979 ESPN Radio, where you can watch the show being periscoped. If you want to check us out on YouTube, feel free. Another means by which to catch up. Go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. And the WTSM app is, in fact, free for all mobile devices. I finally pulled the trigger, Tom. Got the new one. I got the black on black, newest iPhone.
Oh, nice.
Went all in. Like to thank my friend Kevin over there at the particular store that I went to.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, well, they're not spinning with us, Tom.
Right.
I can't give them all that love. But he did a good job. I could sense early in the conversation that he knew, well, I'm going to have to talk with this guy. He's clearly in his mid-40s, and I'm in my early 20s. I'm a lot hipper than he is, so I'll just simplify things for him about what he gets with this technological wizardry.
Isn't that what we all want?
That's
what do
all
I get?
we want. What do I get? Actually, I was not a jerk, but, you know, when you've gone through the process enough times, then you get emboldened, buddy. I went in there and said, hey, I don't need a new phone, but you might be able to convince me to get a new phone. Why don't we talk? And he was speaking my language. He knew what I knew. He knew what time it was.
You must have Hammurabi's code, sir, because that's what I wanted to hear.
He said, let's incentivize for Mr. Cameron. And I sat back and listened. And so now I got the old Apple Watch to boot. I'm the king. If you need a new phone, you let me know.
Yeah.
I'll go in there and
I'll have
be
the
your
other
representation.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it just it's just one
No,
carrier?
you just got to know what time it is. You got to know how to talk to the guys.
Okay.
I'll get you some free stuff, Tom. They want you to sign up for a life.
Well, yeah, but right now I have the company. You know, I put it in the budget, so the company takes care of it.
Yeah. You know, I'm just saying, you can get a new phone even if the company's paying for your monthly bill.
Right.
You may need an upgrade.
My God, are you getting commission?
I'm not giving them anything beyond that. I'm just relaying a weekend story, man. That's how I dealt with Florida State's loss to Michigan. Was the next day I got up, showered, shaved, put on a brand new pair of clothes, and said, time to go phone shopping. That's probably not healthy. It's probably not what you do. Final Four is set. Villanova and Kansas both won on Sunday. And you know what? That Kansas-Duke game was something, huh?
Yeah, it was.
That was fun. And look at little Loyola Chicago, whom we can all root for, I suppose. Wouldn't it be crazy if they won the national championship?
Oh, geez.
You know, further illustration of the whole one-and-done thing. It makes me grateful, and we'll get into the vision check in the next segment and look even closer at Florida State's season. But really, I wasn't embittered. I was disappointed, just like anybody is when their team loses. But it just shows you the one-and-done nature of a truncated tournament, man. You can have crazy things happen to the point where, you know, if you're a fan of a big-time program and you just have a slip-up or somebody plays the game of their life in this format, you know, you get bounced well before a number of teams you frankly think, without question, you're overwhelmingly better than.
Yeah.
And you see it every year, but you're never reminded of it as much as when a seed like this, an 11, or somebody in that range makes this kind of a run. Because then you just roll your eyes. You celebrate it. I know most people love when the little guy does something like this, but typically they don't get to the Final Four. They'll get to the Sweet 16, maybe the Elite Eight. They don't usually run all the way to the Final Four. So what Loyola Chicago's doing is history. It's remarkable history. You just don't see it.
And you got a little while to, you know, get sick of it before they actually tip off in the Final Four game. But things had to break right for Loyola Chicago, too. I mean, they're playing a 9 for the right to go to the Final Four. So, you know, if, let's say, Kansas or Duke was on the other side of the bracket waiting for a Loyola Chicago in the Elite Eight, it's it's been a nice run. You guys did a hell of a thing, and we're all talking about, wow, what a great run, and it comes to its end on a Sunday afternoon. But that's not the case. Kansas State is the opponent. So it's just funny how these things work. Sometimes they can fall the right way for you. For example, Florida State had to play up every time. You know, every favorite won preceding our game. So we were trying to make history and beating 4 teams that were higher seeded on the way to a Final Four, come up just short. For Loyola Chicago, they have an easier bracket. For Kansas and Duke, they get to play each other in the Elite Eight. Thanks for playing to one team, and it happened to be the Blue Devils.
And not taking anything away from Michigan, who played great defensively against Florida State and dictated tempo and how that game was going to be played, and not letting Florida State get out and score in transition. Fast break points were, they were null and void. Couldn't find them.
That scouting report about them being one and done and getting back against transition teams could not have been more true, right?
Yeah, they get back. They defend. I really was wowed by their defense. I actually was less than enamored with their offensive skill set. I actually thought I'd be more impressed because I had only really caught a glimpse of a couple games this year where they had really played well offensively, and then I watched them just pound Texas A&M. So I thought, oh, man, we're in for an offensive juggernaut. No, we were fine on our defensive end against them.
Our principles were good.
Yeah.
They did miss a lot of wide-open threes, but that's the nature of the game itself. And we had a lot of open looks in the first half, I thought, more than the second especially. But we had a number of looks when we didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, they were suffocating. They were suffocating defensively. But, by the way, what I was going to say about that Michigan team is if they beat Loyola Chicago, they'll be the first team since seeding began in 1979 to not face a top 5 seed leading all the way to the national title game. Like, they will make it all the way to the national title game and not have played anybody that was a top 5 seed. That is remarkable. See, once again, we talk about matchups, right? Giving yourself an opportunity. It doesn't mean Michigan's not great. Doesn't mean that Michigan can't win the national title, and doesn't mean that they wouldn't have beat a top 5 seeded team, or a couple of them even, right? But not having to face them is nice.
That's true. The way we were playing, though, I'd say we're right about there in that seed line. And what Michigan has shown so far is they can win a couple of different ways. They can outscore you and make you look silly, or they can grind it out. And I think, if any team is feeling really good about itself this weekend upcoming, it has to be the way Michigan has played of late. They got their scare, and then they get the buzzer beater. So there's this aura of invincibility around your team. And then you have a couple of different ways that you've won on the way to the Final Four against this Cinderella team, and you're the more talented team. So, yeah, there's a lot of week left to break those games down, but I would think if any team has confidence, it's Michigan in a few different ways.
I would think so. I would also think Villanova is having a good time in this tournament because they have proven to be the dominant team. They're even in the books at the Westgate. I went and looked this morning. I wanted to see what Vegas was going to do because I, like you, thought, well, this will be interesting. Michigan's played well and played in a variety of ways. I wonder what Vegas thinks of them. And in my mind, I thought the even money is on Villanova. It is. Villanova's even money. Michigan's 5-2. Kansas 3-1. Kansas, you certainly feel like they have to come out of that game against Duke because you have to hit a 3 with 30 seconds to play just to tie the ball game and then to go win it in overtime. They faced the stiffest test in passing because Duke was playing really good basketball and had a good chance to win that game. So you do 3 of the 4 end up being, in a sense, the cream rising to the top. Without question, that Loyola Chicago team is the one that, well, if you want to keep the dream alive, they were given a 3% chance by ESPN's BPI to be where they are, and they're 12-1 out in Vegas. So if you believe the magic's real, go take your 12-1 and run.
Yeah. Yeah, the 3-1 Kansas is just because they are guaranteed to face Villanova. I think if they in Michigan switch places, they'd probably be 3-2, something like that.
They'd be in a good position. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Why does Mahindra have 97% satisfaction? Ask our owners.
This gives me the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I decided on Mahindra just because of the sheer strength, the size, the ease of the workability, and it was more of a comfortable machine than the others.
You could lift just about anything with that thing. It has never let me down.
And now get the industry's best 7-year limited powertrain warranty on select models.
TNT.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
Today, when you buy any golf cart at TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, they will deliver it to you for free. Yes, free delivery within a 50-mile radius of Thomasville and TNT Supercenter. This means you, Tallahassee, and you too, Valdosta. And it gets even better. For a limited time, when you purchase your cart at TNT Supercenter, you'll receive huge discounts, up to 30% off on all your accessories. We're talking major discounts on wheels, tires, lifts, seats, you name it, on everything you'll need to customize and personalize your new golf cart. TNT Supercenter has new carts, pre-owned carts, club car and Yamaha carts, even Star EV carts. And when you buy today at TNT Supercenter, they will deliver it for free within a 50-mile radius of Thomasville. Are you listening, Valdosta? Did you hear me, Tallahassee? Over 150 carts in stock with free delivery and huge discounts on accessories. Only at TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville. View inventory and pricing at TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT.
Turn up the savings and be comfortable this spring when you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Get $1,200 in cool cash rebates when you purchase a select Carrier system and get up to 60 months no interest on all purchases. Learn more at BaranoAC.com.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
Florida license CAC 057652.
Pick up Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant for $8.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Protect against damaging rust and corrosion with Peak Premixed Coolant, now $8.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Capital Rubber and Industrial Supply invites you to come on by and see them. A locally owned and operated company proudly serving the Tallahassee area since 1987, Capital Rubber specializes in hydraulic hose, fitting and adapters, supply industrial hoses and fittings, along with rubber and gasketing products for automotive farming and industrial needs. Capital Rubber sells fuel, air and water, steam, pressure wash, and discharge hose, just to name a few. Capital Rubber's friendly, knowledgeable staff offers more than 50 years of experience to assist you with all your needs. Call them today at 575-1811 or stop by today at 130 Progress Drive behind TCC.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Fun bringing this feature back, Tom, if you will. If it's still there on the board, we got to utilize it. We got to do the right thing here. Good times indeed. I look forward to it. A little vision check action. Fire away.
Open your eyes.
My glasses! I can't see without my glasses!
My glasses! I can't be seen without my glasses! That is absolutely horrendous!
I don't believe this call is accurate.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Man, I can see!
You lack vision.
It's time for the vision check.
Vision Check is brought to you by the Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez, offices Miami, Tallahassee. There you go. So we bring back the Vision Check, a little bit different angle on it this time around. This one's easy for us to do. It was a remarkable season for Florida State basketball, and the fun continued longer than we would have suspected. We go back to reiterate something we said on numerous occasions throughout the season, and that is you came into a season hoping to go back to the tournament, to put together back-to-back seasons where you are, as Ham used to call it, a team of significance, because you wanted to sustain momentum. You wanted to create a place, again, that's a viable option for some upper-level recruits within a conference as storied as the ACC. And the only way to do that is to get to the tournament and to make a run and to be consistent and, find a way, again, to matter, I guess, in a league full of so many elite teams. And Florida State accomplished that. But then this run happened, right? Then this unforgettable run, one that will hold near and dear to our heart through March Madness, happened. And you almost still pinch yourself even in disappointment after the 4-point loss to Michigan the other night. You can be disappointed, but ever so briefly, because in truth, nobody suspected they'd be in the Elite Eight when this tournament started. They were struggling down the stretch, and yet they picked themselves up there and put it together and played really, really fine basketball throughout. I would even say that, given Michigan and how good they were defensively all season, that being really the biggest difference for this Michigan team than some others that have had nice runs, is that they really defended. That even in that, I mean, if you tell me, Tom, that we're going to play a game against a defensive team like Michigan and really score nothing in transition, no fast break points to speak of, and it's going to be a 3-point game with a couple of minutes left, with a minute and you got a game-tying 3 that got hoisted by P.J. Savoy. That's actually a good shot for him with the kind of range that he has.
Well, yeah. Who else did you want shooting that
nobody.
Basketball down 3, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a good look, and he gets it off, and it had a chance. It doesn't go. And in essence, Michigan, we're out of timeouts. Michigan's is gonna win the game, and they do. They go on to go ahead and win it. We were only down 3 at that moment that the shot happened. So, despite the game being played the way Michigan wanted it played, and congratulations, they did a good job of making that happen. We're still right there. So even a team that struggled most of the year in half-court offense still found a way to be in this game with a chance to tie in the waning moments against a team like Michigan. I'd say that even in defeat, I wasn't all that disappointed.
No, because you gave yourself a second chance there too, and Michigan plays its part by missing some front ends, and obviously the free throw game allowed us to have a chance. I think we shot 90% for the game, right? But we also had a chance at a tying 3 with Kofor from the corner.
Yeah.
And again, I think it was one of those deals where if you could just assert a 1-point lead, perhaps the mood on the court changes a little bit. It's not like we didn't make Michigan sweat, but in terms of the belief on your own bench, I know this is kind of a weird thing to say right now as the season's closing, but I thought this was a really important NCAA tournament for Terrence Mann because he's going to be looked at as the player, the leader next year.
Yeah.
And had his struggles continued from the back end of ACC play through the postseason.
The idea that he'd been figured out, right?
Well, also the ability to, lead in the offseason and set the standard. I think that would become a little bit tougher, even though he has his bona fides. To be able to do what he did in the tournament, he makes the all-bracket team with Phil Kofor. I thought that was very significant in helping set the tone for what next season is going to look like and what the leadership structure will be for next season.
Well, we doff the cap to Brian Angola, who we know won't be back, and say thank you. It's been a joy to watch that young man transfer over and develop the way that he has here. He became a really reliable player for the bulk of his time in Tallahassee, and he'll be remembered fondly. We don't know if that's Phil Kofor's final game. Let's hope that it's not. Of course, they're trying to get him back with all the medical issues he's had. But he had 16 and 11. If it is his final game, he was very, very good. So there's a lot to like about this team going forward next year, too. I know that There are some people I've encountered who are really concerned that this run is the end of something, but I really kind of look at it as the start of something because you've got guys that didn't play this year, Raekwon Gray, for example, and Polite and other guys that they really expect to do great things and have a lot of high hopes in. And then you can see the continued development of a Trent Forrest, and you do get Terrence Mann back. And obviously when you look at the other bigs, whether it's Kabengele or Fiondu, you got guys who physically are talented, who are gifted, who will develop a little bit more offensively. They already have the defensive prowess there, and they're only going to get better at that. You got shot blockers, you got size, you got quickness. You get a lot of experience in a tournament run like this. I think they learned from last year's tournament run. One would think they'll learn again from this. So, yeah, the future is very bright for Florida State basketball right now.
Yes, if you get Cover back especially, this is going to be a really, really important offseason for Kamaje. You could see where minutes might get squeezed for certain players, and he would be at the top of the list because if Obiagu's game continues to develop and he becomes even an average offensive player, that is to say something from 8 feet, if you feel you have a reasonable chance of making, right now it's just dunks and
that's all he
putbacks.
really can give you,
But he can give you blocks. Well, then more minutes are going his way, and Kabengele's certainly going to get more minutes if we're going to play smaller on the court, and he's going to be our 5, or if Kofer's out there with Kabengele. So there's going to be a little bit of a squeeze in the rotation next year, which should make for an awesome offseason and an awesome training camp non-conference portion to next year's schedule as we try and figure out the rotation. We kind of stumbled into depth this year.
Yeah.
As we got into the NCAA tournament. We will have depth from the beginning of the season next year the way that we've been used to in the Junkyard Dog days.
Well, and remember the year began again without Trent Forrest being fully healthy. And so, I can only imagine, and again, knock on wood, that a full offseason's worth of work and pure health as we get set for the next season, we'll see a guy whose game, is already skyrocketing towards stardom. Imagine what he'll be if he starts the year fully healthy.
Yeah, well, if he has any semblance of a consistent jump shot, if he's decent from 3, this may be his last year. I mean, it'll be his junior season, but he's that kind of explosive around the rim that, wow. And it's also a great opportunity this offseason for MJ Walker to kind of sit back now and look at everything that's happened.
Almost a forgotten guy, right?
Well, and he had the explosive play in the first half.
Yeah.
Wish you found a couple more minutes for him in the second half, but there's no doubt that he hit the freshman wall and he gets to reboot the system and see what it's all about, and hopefully he is every bit what the talent suggests he's going to be next year.
Well, he looks the part. I think so. Again, the future's bright. So that's the vision check for now, and I think it's a good one. It's easy to remain positive today on a day where, hey, basically some people may still have that loss hangover from Saturday night, disappointed. Losing always sucks. Nobody thinks otherwise. But it's, if properly put in perspective, understood by the vast majority of this fan base that, man, they exceeded expectations, got everything out of their abilities, were well coached, and we're the benefactors of an Elite 8 run. We'll see what next year gives us. I think it should be good. Thanks to our friends at the law offices of Jose Fernandez, offices Miami, Tallahassee, as they are the proud sponsor of the Vision Check. Welcome back, Vision Check. I missed the Vision Check.
It's been a minute, yeah. I like
5 years?
It's a good Monday bit.
It's been 5 years?
No, since we started it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I remember it seems like eons ago that was put together.
Probably year and a half since we had a Vision Check.
I always just laugh and smile when I hear the Raiders call because we know how that changed history. I was going through that exercise the other day thinking about that Patriots game and what happens, and it's really very easy to figure out that the Bucs would not have a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Kraft Nissan. I've been telling you that Kraft Nissan is your new tire headquarters, and now through April 30th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th one for $1. We're talking Goodyear, Bridgestone, Continental, Kumho, and more. Plus, all tires come with free lifetime rotations, and Kraft Nissan gives you 2 years road hazard protection on your new tires at no charge. I'm telling you, we beat the box stores and we beat the tire stores, and we back it up with the Kraft Price Match Guarantee. We beat any competitor's written or advertised price. Also, for a limited time with our express service, 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotation for only $36.95 and full synthetic oil for just $46.95, and no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service specials tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, then come to Kraft Nissan. We service all makes and models, and we want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Call 576-6171.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. One day after Giants co-owner John Mara, unhappy with some off-field issues, said Odell Beckham Jr. was not untouchable, didn't rule out the possibility of trading arguably the most talented receiver in the NFL. Co-owner Steve Tisch, a little more conciliatory, said he hopes Beckham remains a Giant this season and for years to come, but added a contract extension. Not the team's utmost concern at this point. New York does need to sign Beckham, in the opinion of ESPN's Teddy Bruschi.
He's a talent that deserves it. He needs to be, it's all about timing, and the timing is he would probably be the highest paid wide receiver in the game. Is that good enough for him, though? You know, he's talked about being the highest paid offensive player, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. On the field, the talent is undeniable, and it's someone that, to me, he belongs in New York.
ESPN's Jordan Renan reports the Giants will sign former Dolphins defensive back Mike Thomas. 26-year-old NBA G League player for the Grand Rapids Drive, Zeke Upshaw, has died 2 days after collapsing on the court near the end of a game. The Drive is affiliated with the Detroit Pistons.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I always, you hear the horror stories of players that don't adjust well when their playing days are over. Well, Albert Belle, come on down. As a man who has had a rough go since the end of his playing days, at least if the arrest records photo mugshot here is any indication, he said to hell with it all. Now, again, not knowing his set of circumstances, I guess I'll kind of lay off a bit of the severe ribbing because, my God, I don't think Albert Belle's going to be with us much longer. He is rotund. Woo, woo, Albert. That's not the most disturbing aspect of the story, however. Former MLB star Albert Belle arrested Sunday at a D-back spring training game in Scottsdale, Arizona.
That's not what you do.
No. A lot of times if it's, the guy is out at a bar and gets into a fight and somebody was goading him or something like that, or anything that seems within the normal parameters of what could happen to an ex-athlete who has an interaction or a confrontation, right? We all read about sad domestic violence cases where, you never really know who's at fault there. You read the story, you try to discern, and we usually stay away from those to,
Oh, yeah. Depends on who's telling the story.
Right.
Yeah.
My man's at a spring training game. Well, I mean, I've had fun at a spring training game, but, they're during the day usually. And, I don't know. I mean, it's a spring training game. It's really relaxed. You're not usually.
Kind of chill, right?
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. So he was arrested, this according to the Fox 10 account I'm reading from now, and right outside of Scottsdale. According to the arrest records from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, he was charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure as well as multiple counts of DUI. Incorporated in that is DUI liquor / drugs and vapors.
That's not what you do.
Vapors written in there. So smoking of some kind, like
It could have been that he used the vaping device.
The vaping device for something?
Yeah.
It would appear?
Yeah.
They confiscated
That's not what you do.
Yeah. So he had that, but even that is not nearly as bad as what the rest of this reads. You see, my man was in the bag and decided he was not going to wait until he got to his vehicle. He took it to a tree. There in the parking lot where plenty of people could see him, and a man and his son were walking into the game to enjoy some spring training baseball. Albert was urinating. The man said something to Albert Belle like, "Yo, man, what are you doing? I'm with my kid." Albert became incensed, turned, and wagged his wang in the direction of the man and the boy.
All right, there it is.
Yeah. And for that, indecent exposure charges have been filed against old Mr. Belle. You probably, any one of these things beyond that, might not have even read about this. Might have just been a guy who would have got busted for, public urination or something like that.
Well, yeah, they can, ding you pretty good for that, as I understand it.
Yeah, I would think.
But, the
turning, waving, and wagging.
Yeah, that's
probably where it took it to a new level.
That's the end zone celebration of the problem. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I tell you all of this to tell you this. Go online and look up Albert Jawan Belle's photo arrest photo. Go look at that one. Go look at the booking of Albert Belle. You will not recognize him. Oh! My goodness gracious. They list him, Tom. I did look this up because I wondered if they would have it, and they do. Albert Belle is not quite 6'2". You remember a hulking man in his playing days, a stud, steroid abuser, cork bat.
Forearms the size of my thighs.
Whole deal, Oppo home run hitting, stud for some time, obviously, both for the Indians, the White Sox. We remember all those days. Yeah, he's not that now. He's nearly 300 pounds, coming in at $3 bills. And not the good kind of $3 bills. Not like he became obsessed with the gym after his playing days were over. No. It's quite the opposite. He could be a right guard if he was still fleet of foot. I don't know. He's a big, big man. Several layers underneath the chin there. And the arrest photo is, well, I guess of a guy that you would suspect of doing that at a spring training game to a father-son combo walking in to see. But you know what's nuts is you know know what's crazy about that? Is that no doubt that okay, so I take it if you're you're going to a spring training game, you're a fan. You may not be a diehard fan, but you're probably a fan of baseball in general, right? So the father at the very least would have seen Albert Belle play. I guarantee you he has no idea that was Albert Belle.
Hey, man.
Yeah, he just thought that was some really fat, inebriated, vaporizing.
All right, there it is.
Oh, Albert. Over under. I hate to be this rude.
Oh, boy.
3 years? What do you say?
He finds something in his life, and it's over. I root for people.
I root for people, too. That's why I'm not sitting here celebrating this story as much as I'm just relaying the story so people can go and find the picture and be as shocked as I was when I saw the headline. I thought, he got a DUI. That's a shame. I'll click on the story and read it. And I begin to read it. And I'm like, no, this isn't about DUI at all. This is about this other thing. That's a problem. And then
flag waving, so to speak.
Right. And then I said, oh, well, gosh, that's terrible. I haven't seen Albert Belle in some time. I clicked on the book. I saw that picture. I went, oh, good Lord. Who's this man pretending to be Albert Belle?
And you know Scottsdale's got no time for this.
Oh, no. No, that is...
if this happened in, say, I don't know, Sarasota, they might have let it go. Or St. Pete.
Stay out of Malibu, Lebowski.
Right, exactly.
That's what this is right here.
That's Scottsdale.
That's Scottsdale.
They're rolling up to pull you away in a Bentley. That's just their standard deputy's car.
I had so much fun out in Scottsdale. Not enough to do what Albert Belle did there, but I was in Scottsdale for the first time and only time that I've ever been when we lost to Tennessee in the national championship game in the Fiesta Bowl, and I was stunned by the decadence of Scottsdale. And it is a true story, which I've told you, that I got a ride to the game called a taxi, walked outside of my hotel to get in said taxi with my buddy Todd Van Dyke. And we were just standing there, and I thought, well, this is the slowest taxi of all time. When are they going to pick us up? When finally a horn beeped after we'd been sitting there like 20 minutes, and I look over to my left, and there's at the time, brand new, fully loaded, decked out Cadillac. And I thought, why is that man beeping? I didn't order a limo. This is nuts. And I walked over, and he goes, get in. I've been sitting here. I know it's you too. I'm your cab. And that was standard. The guy was pissed. We were angry. Everybody was angry. And then we all settled down. I was like, how about this? It's where they roll in Scottsdale, apparently. And it is.
Get in the damn car.
Yeah, the guy's like, good Lord,
this is
man.
A standard cab? Yeah, it is pretty nice,
It's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah.
You got a good deal. I'd be a cabbie in Scottsdale. Just get one of those.
The meter's been running.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're used to people being able to pay for that and then some. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely Zero-Turn Mowers. The controls are smarter. The handling is smoother. When it comes to professional grade performance, no mower is greater than a Gravely Zero-Turn. Be more than just a mower. Be prouder. Be greater. Be a Gravely owner. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
With over 150 of them in stock, the Gravely Zero Turns start at just $28.99. Go to TNTSuperCenter.com for current inventory and pricing.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Super Lube. Super Lube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history. March 26th, 1973. In the NCAA championship game, Bill Walton had what many considered the greatest performance in college basketball history. Walton went 21 of 22 from the field for a finals game record 44 points. The Bruins beat Memphis State 87-66 for their 7th consecutive national championship and their 9th in 10 years.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I don't know. This is a weird week, man. What do we do as we wrap up the show and not have to think about the next basketball game? We haven't done that in a while.
I know, and it's got an island day off, too, this week, because we have the watch party on Thursday for baseball's opening day.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be there for opening day and celebrate all things opening day. And, Tom may not know it, but he may find out here. Could be a couple days off this week.
Really?
You just don't know. You just never, when things slow down a little bit.
This is terrible news.
Even things out, start to think about it a little bit. Realize there may be a day in there that could be had.
Oh,
just saying.
Wow.
Well, it made me sad as the party came to an end, obviously with the tournament coming to a close for Florida State, and it's frustrating. All of that is true. You know what I did do, though, and I commented on it earlier, but somebody just emailed me and wanted to know if I had said anything about it, so I'll say it again here. It was important to do, Tom, because where I was, and I know you were out, too, watching the game, you couldn't really hear the Leonard Hamilton interview and post-game comments necessarily. I didn't, and I couldn't also do what I normally do when I'm watching games, which is just rewind a little bit and go back and look at things to see. But if you go back and look, I did that this morning, A, to hear the audio specifically again, but then B, also, I wanted to check the end of game scenario. They are asking them to foul.
Yeah.
Well, now I understand his frustration. I still wish it still wasn't a great look, but now I know why he's frustrated. He did. They were trying to tell them to foul. They just didn't. So he's not going to tell Dana, well, my players.
Right. But Dana did her job, too.
Not mad at her.
Exactly.
Not mad at her in any way. She did exactly what you would do. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people were wondering. I was one of them, as we all were. Like, yo, you can foul here.
But that she didn't back down and get combative. Instead of escalating the situation, she remained calm and said, Coach, this is something they talked about in the broadcast. This is a legitimate question.
Well, and it is a legitimate question, and she didn't do anything wrong. I'm not mad at her. I understand why he couldn't I know why he was frustrated. And also, let me just say this, and this I didn't bring up earlier. Talked with somebody very close to the program with, access to the coaches and players and who are a part of the program. And I'm not talking out of school here. They said that Coach Ham really loved this team. He admired this team. He really felt like they were the epitome of what a college basketball team should be in terms of the way they worked and cared and prepared and played for one another and improved and fought. And so there are a lot of guys on this team that he likes. And as a team, again, from the end of the bench to the guys that play the most amount of minutes, he loved the squad. He thought they were pretty special and pretty unique. So he wanted so much for them, to taste the Final Four, to see that. And I think if you know that, and then you know that there was a little frustration and that those players who you really, really have grown close to didn't maybe execute in the final 11 seconds, they weren't going to come back. They weren't going to win that game. The guy with the ball in his hands, a 91% foul shooter, he was probably going to go make one and the game's over and whatever. But the point is, you would foul there. They were telling them to foul. Those guys didn't foul, and he's at a loss for words, and I don't think he knows really what to say because he's sure as hell not going to roll those guys under the bus. That's really what that came down to in my mind, and going back and looking at that.
Yeah, and again, to me, it's a footnote. It's not the story.
No.
And those who want to make it the story, we all know the deal there. They're looking for something. It's not. I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do situationally, but again, if you see the bench, we're calling for the right thing to be done, and it's just not executed. So
yeah,
that to me is not the story.
Oh,
of
it would be the story if they hadn't. I would say that.
You think it would
not the story of the season, but it'd be a storyline in the game that you don't foul, that you don't call for your guys to foul with 11 seconds to play in a 4-point game. It would
I don't
matter.
think it's more important than the stifling defense that Michigan played.
No, but it would be a story. I mean, if you forgot to tell,
my point is, it's the story for a certain group
who've
been looking for weeks to complain about something.
Group of people that are insignificant. I don't really. Yeah, no. But the good thing is, and I will put the ribbon on it with this, they're loaded. And this was a run that came completely unexpected. I mean, we thought they could make the tournament, and anything that happened after that we thought was gravy, and they did more than make the tournament. They made the Elite Eight. So it ended up being a special season, and you know that all the while recognizing the next season could be better. Now, given the one-and-done nature of an NCAA tournament, they may not be back in the Elite Eight, and so representatively, it might not be as special as what this run was.
Yeah.
But next year's regular season, Tom, as we get geared up a whole year out from now, I'll tell you, I think it's going to be really good. I think they're going to be very good next year.
Well, it's just 8 short months, before non-conference season really gets rolling. And, yeah, I just hope that the response is there. And this is something I said after the Boston College game, the final regular season game of the year, which was basically a win and you're in type game. The show out or the turnout, we didn't show.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just disappointing. And I hope that perhaps the momentum from this season, this postseason, we'll see that people care about maybe not the sexy North Carolina or Duke matchup, but a game that's just as important against a Clemson or a Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it just tells me something or it reminds you. I mean, I think we're armed with the knowledge, and sometimes we surprise ourselves sometimes I'm surprised by the fan base in a good way when it comes to basketball. But what it does do when you have a situation like that BC game that you're talking about is remind you that there's a long way to go, and that the only way to get there is to win a lot of games. It's just that simple, and Easier said than done, right? But the idea now is you win a lot of games and you're consistently in the tournament, and that's the whole thing. If you're a consistent tournament team, then the momentum builds and people begin to trust you, and they buy back in. At the end of the day, whatever anybody's definition of fandom is, it seems like that's a debate that's been going on for as long as sports have been played. But I do know this: it's always remedied by wins. Whether that's a pro franchise, college, hell, good high school teams. I mean, they draw, right? You got to win. And Florida State has a ton of cachet in football. They've won 3 national titles. They got 3 Heisman trophies and a gazillion All-Americans, and they've been one of the most important programs in football for the last 40 years. When they're bad, half that stadium's empty.
This is true.
So it's just, you got to win. And so this is good news. As frustrating as that is at times, they did win again this year, and they're going to win next year. I mean, barring some injuries or anything, they're going to win again next year.
Yeah, that's, hello expectations.
Yeah.
You're not sneaking up on anybody.
Well, remember, and it's funny because 2 years ago when they won 26 games, there were some expectations going into that season because of the one-and-dones. And you're going, well, I mean, you got to kind of win some games here.
Yeah.
You got some talent. And then they, had the second-best record in school history and won every game at home that they played.
Yeah, but the moment you do something like you did this year, the schedule automatically gets tougher because people circle you. No.
Oh, sure.
Now people say, well, that's a team that went to the Elite Eight last year.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we give it our all.
Wouldn't it be something, though, that we represent something like that? That other schools look to make a name for themselves by beating Florida State in basketball? We've been doing it for football for years. It'd be huge. To be going places where they're like, oh, we got to beat FSU. Because that's the definition of a team.
Again, I think it rears its head mostly in ACC road games against lesser than teams, or teams in our class, so to speak. But they think they're punching up because of recent success or the non-conference schedule itself. So the first half of the season, people say, if you're in one of those tournaments, and I don't know which one we'll be in next year, but, Florida State went to the Elite Eight last year. So if you beat them, I mean, this is a big RPI booster. So you got to put all your eggs in this basket.
You know what I should have done, and this is just poor on my behalf, but, we don't know about Phil Kofer for certain yet.
Correct.
That's kind of a big deal. I mean, if you get him back, given the step he took forward this year and what he was in this tournament even, that'd be a huge deal to get another year with him.
Yeah, you have a crisis of minutes at that point because you're going to have some kids that we redshirted that are definitely going to have to play next year.
Good one at that, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good problem to have, right? Oh, too many good players. We got to divvy minutes to.
Well, yeah, developed too. That's the other thing. Again, if the talking point you run into is they don't develop here,
well,
that's the end of the argument because now you're not talking in facts.
No.
Because you have a lot of players this year who stepped up who are not McDonald's All-Americans, who are not one-and-dones. These are developmental players that this coaching staff has done such a good job with, and they got them to peak at the right time. They got a little lucky that we were playing our best basketball at the right time, but you can see what happens. If you develop players, look what Trent Forrest is now.
Well, and if he develops further as a shooter, you've got a lights-out player in the best conference in America, and it's something to watch a guy who has the ball in his hands, control the action, to raise to that place where you're now amongst the elite in a conference that has a ton of elite talent at that position. It's a lot of fun to watch. Let's cross our fingers that continues. By the way, don't forget, as I said earlier in the show, this week on Thursday, we'll be at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill for the start of baseball season. Speaking of baseball season, another reminder, Games for Less, locally owned and operated. My friend George over there has done a good job for over 20 years off of Appalachia Parkway. Go all the way down there by the Walmart Shopping Center, locally owned and operated. They have MLB The Show. Came out today. Well, technically it comes out tomorrow, Tom. But I think if you were to stop by there on your way home, they might have it. So I'm told.
You could acquire it.
Could be there. You just never know. It's exciting times. But that's the only video game I play, so I get geeked out. It's like when Halo comes out for you.
Yeah. I'd gotten off the Halo thing, and then once I got, the new system.
Then you were back to...
brought me back
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? It's escapism.
And George is good for that, too.
Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be well. Talk to you tomorrow.